my Gary V Series 1 V friend at the literal peak of everything.
Dude, buying anything Gary V is a massive, massive mistake.
No, so much value in it. I disagree with. There's been so much that's been added on. The problem was buying it when I did, not because I bought it.
Right. But what I mean is like Gary V, when he hypes, he signals the bubble bursting. You know what I mean? He is
sort of, yeah.
He does.
I had my opportunity to clean back out of that. It's on me. Did
you get rid of the acorn emoji NFT?
No, I'm going to keep that to spite myself for a long time because that's problem number 2.
What kind of card was that? A
Curio cards.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, I got some wild stuff. I'm not even getting rid of it at this point. It's just like, wait, sell it for $0.01.
Yeah, I think I spent $10K and it's $10.
Yeah. Hey, you got me pinch hitting today. Adam decided to take off. I mean, what a jerk. I'm kidding. He's dealing with family business here, but he'll be back. And I'll be doing NBA for today. And then we got a good cast of characters taking you through the rest of the week. But it is back, my friends. The NBA season tips off tonight. I don't know why they have to do 2 games. I wish it could be like 5, you know? You could still put those marquee matchups in there, the great games, you know, reigning finals champions and the Denver Nuggets. You could still do all of that. But you could, stop teasing us. Give us a few more games. Still 2 games doesn't matter. Huge prize pools out there. $1 million prize pool on DraftKings. This is the Deeper Dive. We're glad to have you guys here to start another season event. Feels like I've said that many times at this point. I'm Dave Loughran, Laffy_D on the Twitters, joined by Josh Engleman. Up early today, 5 a.m., prepping for the process show at 6:30. Did the strategy show. Doing it all. What's up, brother?
Nothing, man. I'm excited. I still have a ton of energy right now. Grabbed an hour nap after I put out the prize picks video, and I was finally done having to create any additional content. So I grabbed myself an extra hour of sleep, which was very necessary. Sucked down a Gatorade, ate some beef jerky. Now I'm ready to go.
Well, you also told me that you drink 40 ounces of coffee a day. So I feel like
at a minimum too.
I would assume that the energy is still there, and you sleep fine, huh? Sleep like a baby, no problems.
Yeah. So it's an uppers downers thing. I just jam the weed down my body and offset all of that caffeine when I get to the end of the day. It's Josh, perfectly balanced, reasonable stuff.
I think so. As long as you wake up feeling fine, that's my thing. Like as long as you wake up feeling fine, you're on the right track.
Yeah, of course. Right? Great.
The moment you start waking up feeling like shit, that's when you have to reevaluate life.
Oh yeah. And not at all. And I felt like shit today because it's the first time I got up at 5 o'clock in 7 months. Like that's that was different. Not that's ideal. Different. Yeah, no, I'm right as rain.
Josh of Los Angeles, member for 29 months. Damn, dude. We've been doing this a while. We're going on 3 years. Merry Christmas, fellas, with the free
3-year badges. Do we have that?
I don't know. Jordan, do we have 3-year badges? Because we're going to need to get them.
I have some
badges. Put your camera on, too.
No. I have some badges. But we're only allowed a certain amount of badges right now. I'm trying to figure out how to add more in. But as of right now, we're all stuck at like 2 years, I think.
Badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
We'll figure it out. Avi, $20 super chat. Just popping in. Say, good luck, everybody, tonight and all year. Thanks, man. You're the man. Teddy, NBA is back. LFG, another. People super chatting just because they're stoked. Got a good community here, man. I even heard you compliment Drop Roses on a show today, on the strategy show. This is a different Josh, at least for the first day of the week of the season.
Look, I felt like that had to be done. I don't like doing that at all. Clearly wasn't prompted. Could have been held hostage at the time. That would be the only way that it would make some sense. And look, he didn't do it the right way because he did the same thing for like 100 other people, but he was early on the Austin Reeves bandwagon.
Yeah, he was a big-time Drew Lock guy as well, and we saw how that played out.
Yeah. These zigs and zags.
Yeah, anyway, Chris Williams, thanks for the free memberships to everybody. Toasted Biscuits with the super chat. The NBA Dream Team is back. Hey, thanks, man. That's nice of you to say. Josh is going to guide me through this one because I've been full out like 50 football shows a week, I think.
Yeah, you today doing the NBA show is like me showing up every Sunday morning.
I know. That's
I don't know. Jeff Hostetler, best quarterback today.
Plus, though, we got tools. We got the tools. The Sims tool, Got the lineup generator. Like that's what I did. I went in, I was like, let me pull up ownership. Let me see what the Sims give me. I mean, shit, I'm playing tonight because I have the Sims tool. It's honestly that simple. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't be, because I'd be donating. So anyway, super happy to have you guys with us today. I mean that. This is fun. Even though Josh would be carrying this one from an analysis standpoint, what
else is new?
We're real happy to have you guys here. If you haven't done so yet, take a single second, atone for your sins on the NBA Deeper Dive. Get us north of 200 out of the gate here. People got to be in a good mood today. There's no way we don't get to 500 even on a 2-game slate, right?
We are going to blow it out of the water, dude.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the channel as well. And make sure you check out all of our podcast stuff. All our stuff outside of the shit that doesn't have any shelf life all goes straight to podcast. If you don't have YouTube Premium, you just want to check that out. Listen in your phone, in your car with the phone off or something. Apple Podcast, Spotify, all that stuff is over there. Leave us a rating and a review too. That stuff goes a long way. Even further than a thumbs up, believe it or not. All right, you ready to get into this?
I'm born ready, dude.
All right. So first things first, Lakers and Denver. Lakers 5-point dogs, 228 total. It's funny because looking at this, you've got Denver just ran through everyone last season. Nikola Jokic on this slate projected, I think I heard you mention it earlier today too, like a 14-point higher projection than anybody. I know it's a 2-game slate, so I get it. A 13-game slate, that'd be kind of weird. But you saw it last year too, where this guy was just through the roof. The ownership, though, on the Lakers is what stands out to me. We can start here, and then we can work our way over to Denver, who has pretty concentrated rotation. Even in maybe the beginning of the season's different. It shouldn't matter as much this early in the year. But with the Lakers, outside of Taurean Prince, who's close to minimum salary, multi-forward eligibility, small forward, power forward, for a 2-game slate, nobody's getting any ownership on the Lakers.
No, it's a weird scenario. When I first loaded everything up, I just assumed something was wrong. Because I hadn't prepped anything. I hadn't run a crunch, nothing like that. And I was like when we first woke up, I was like, LeBron James is 8% owned on a 2-game slate at a price tag that isn't crazy. But then I started looking at everything and it stopped being super crazy. Like, as I look at my ownership, the first Laker I get to in my exposures is D'Angelo Russell at 29%. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 11 guys ahead of him. It's so hard to want to prioritize anything specific from LA. So much of the offense is going to go through LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You know that D'Angelo Russell and Christian Wood are going to just beg for whatever scraps are left. We still have Austin Reeves on this team, fresh off of his new contract. And then we have a rotation after that with Rui, Prince, Hayes, Reddish, Vincent, where nobody really looks all that good. And you end up looking at a team that is just very, very difficult in the worst spot possible, by the way. Denver, home team, elevation.
Yeah,
they beat
Denver
the shit out of them last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's like everything is not in the Lakers' favor here.
But it's not a huge surprise other than having no Dennis Schroeder anymore off the bench. It's not that much different. It's not that much different than last season.
No, sure. I mean, Schroeder basically became Gabe Vincent.
Right. But we weren't playing these guys last season when Davis and LeBron were both healthy, and you still have we could talk a little bit about D'Angelo Russell just because point guard, shooting guard, he's not expensive. Yeah. But with D'Angelo Russell, it feels like, especially given that LeBron James is a very capable distributor, it feels like with D'Angelo Russell, you need him to have one of those games where he hits 5 of the 7 threes that he takes. Right?
For sure. And it is part of it that's scaring me. I mean, not that I'm getting to a ton. Like I said, 29% isn't exactly some gigantic stand. He's owned a bit less than that, but
you're
still
over the field by 2x over the field.
Yeah, but I have, 94% Chris Paul, 70% Kevon Looney, 62% Andrew Wiggins. So there's some scale to this a bit. But the only thing that scares me for Russell is if he's getting really cooked defensively, which Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are probably going to do that to him. I could see a scenario where Gabe Vincent usurps him in a closing lineup if the defensive problems are that bad. They could also kind of do the same thing if they needed to bring offense onto the floor in a different direction. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping he's buying in. It's game one and he's going to like be a different dude and like maybe knock down some shots. But I also think he's not, I said this earlier today, I'll say it again now. He's not long for the Lakers. I don't expect him to be on this team past the trade deadline. So we'll see what they want to do. They want him to look good.
Because it's not a good fit.
Well, it's a contract situation. Yeah, he's the only real salary that they can move to try to bring in somebody different. He's really their only bargaining chip. So,
yeah, makes sense. What about Reeves? I know you guys were talking about him earlier today. It felt like, am I misremembering, or did Austin Reeves just collapse in the last round of the postseason last year?
I wouldn't say collapsed.
I felt like his shooting was just insanely bad, but I could be completely wrong here.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Even in the last round,
his 4-game EPMs against Denver plus 6.4, plus 4.1, negative 1.3, plus 2.6.
What did he shoot?
Effective field goal percentage 68, 66, 85, 59. Didn't miss a free throw.
Maybe it was the series before that. Who'd they face? Memphis?
Golden State. No, I mean, he was pretty well good.
All right. It's unimportant anyway. For some reason, I felt like there were games where Reeves was just in bad shape. But besides the point, he's the same price as Russell today. Again, I'm only mentioning all of these guys because it's a 2-game slate. If there's a bigger slate, we probably get, I mean, how much Taurean Prince on an 8-game slate do you get to? He's 44%, right? I don't know if you'd have more than 5% of anyone if this was a real slate.
Yeah, I have 23% now. Not a guy that I'm like super excited to get to, but there's minutes there. He's going to start. He could close. So there's a possibility that he can get up to like that 28 range, but he's Taurean Prince on a team. Look, everybody looks bad alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. Like, is Prince a great point per dollar play? Yeah. Is 40% owned a lot for Taurean Prince today? Also, yes.
I know Vanderbilt became less and less prominent in this rotation as the season, particularly the postseason, went on, right? I mean, we were seeing games where he get 4 minutes, 10 minutes. Does his absence today, given that he's out, does that potentially open anything up for any of these guys like a Christian Wood? But the Wood price tag is so high. Jackson Hayes is almost minimum salary, but I mean, Wood, $6,200 as center only eligibility.
He's really hard to get to unless you think Anthony Davis pulls an Anthony Davis. It's a price tag thing. Like, for him to have a score that pays off 6,200, he has to play today a significant amount of minutes that no one in the industry seems to be expecting. Like Jackson Hayes, at least you could look at it and say 3,600. Maybe they just choose Jackson Hayes over Christian Wood if something happens to Anthony Davis. Or maybe Jackson Hayes is just going to get 14, 16 minutes. He runs into a couple block shots and he's a solid enough value center. Jackson Hayes to me is a lot easier to get to than Christian Wood just financially, but neither one of them look great. I don't have a single share of either one of them.
Any Vincent, Rui?
Nope.
Rui had some games where he kind of popped off at times, but that's few and far between. He's north of 5K. Yeah, these guys are really tough to get to. How about this? If there was one guy on this team that at the end of the night you go, I didn't have any and I wish I did, right? Just hypothetically, if there was one of them, who would you see that being? Maybe someone just trying to get weird with their lineups today.
From the Lakers?
Yeah, from the Lakers.
I'm just looking at the ownership so I don't answer someone dumb.
Yeah, look, if there's nobody, that's fine. I just want to, again, on a larger slate, I wouldn't even ask you this question.
Gabe Vincent.
Okay. Because you could see him closing over Russ.
Yeah. It's not crazy if he gets up to like 24 minutes.
Okay. And he's also a guy that can get oddly hot from 3 if he's
like, this is another situation. I touched on it a little bit with regards to Drew Eubanks, but Like, I don't really think that the Lakers are long for D'Angelo Russell, and they just specifically went out there and signed Gabe Vincent in the offseason. Like, those two things coming together, maybe they just want it to be Gabe Vincent. It's possible. Well, again, this is a 2-game slate. We're talking possibilities. Do I have it projected like that? No. I have D'Angelo Russell at 31 minutes and Gabe Vincent at 19. But if you told me that ended up looking more like 27-23, that really changes the equation. Not that Gabe Vincent's some like great per minute guy, but you get what I'm saying.
Let's talk about the Nuggets then.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic, 63% ownership. Look, 63% ownership for Jokic on a 2-game slate is not that high. How much Jokic are you getting to?
20.
So you do this a lot though in these small slates. I know you do. You do it a lot with showdown slates. You do it a lot with the 2-gamers whenever we talked in the postseason.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it's 20%. That's fine. That's less important than what are you doing differently with those 80% non-Jokic lineups, especially knowing, hey, you're not getting the really LeBron and you're not getting the Anthony Davis. We still have a few other, great players on a slate like this. What are these non-Jokic lineups going to look like if you're only getting 20%?
So I want to just mention one thing since we didn't really touch on AD. I have 25% Anthony Davis. So I do have
He's your highest owned Laker then.
He is second behind Russell.
Oh, right. Russell at 29. Yeah.
Let me pull up the ownership here just so I have it in front of my face. I don't know why I didn't just go to the tab in my own sheet, but that's really not the point. I have a lot of Kevin Durant now. He's projected for 39% ownership. I have 60. So if we're thinking about just pay up options, Durant has become a guy that has become very important in my lineups.
What sucks about Phoenix though is they're just going to be the Brooklyn Nets when it was Durant, Irving, and James Harden.
I hope so.
Once Beal gets back.
Oh, once Beal gets back. Yeah. I was like, I hope this is the Kevin Durant that was in Brooklyn that just does everything for the Suns tonight.
No, I mean that every single night that they're on the slate, you're going to go, oh, it's Beal, it's Booker, and it's Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
When it was hard,
hope nobody else likes touching the ball.
Right. It doesn't mean they can't have those games, but trying to figure that out sucked when it was Irving, Harden, and Durant. And I never got it right. How do you get it right?
It's going to be an incredibly frustrating experience.
Yeah. We'll get to that. But how are you feeling about 20%? I sound like a therapist here. How do you feel about 20% Nikola Jokic?
I don't care at all. It doesn't even, it makes no difference to me. I'm not like, do I wish I had a lot more? Yeah, he's really fun to cheer for. And he's like the coolest dude that's going to be playing today. I would love it to be the opposite. Like, just personally, I'd love to cheer for Jokic aggressively. However, I don't really care that much.
We're going to pull the Sims tool up in a minute.
Yeah.
And I want to look at what our exposures look like and everything. But what is pulling you away from Jokic? Is it the 10K price point and you're just getting better lineups with a cheap, because like you said, it's not that you're afraid of getting over the field on high owned plays. You're getting 100% Chris Paul basically.
Yeah.
What is it about Jokic? Or just that Kevin Durant is 8,400 with Bradley Beal unlikely to play. Devin Booker's 8,300. Like, is that what we're looking at here?
I think it's two things. One, I just think that we've opened up some value with that Booker news that we didn't have before. But two, I think it's the center position
Beal
in
news,
general. Yeah. Beal news. What did I say?
Well, you said Booker, but I'm just making sure because
yeah.
he said he was 50-50 earlier in the day, but now he's good. Yeah.
I meant the Beal news.
Yeah.
Stupid B names. So look, Jokic is sitting at 10K. Anthony Davis at 8,900 is still a really interesting play at a very different ownership number. But it's the rest of these guys that I'm very intrigued by. I'm fascinated by Yusef Nurkic in Phoenix at 6,300. Maybe he feels good after a summer off. I have a pretty big stand on Yusef Nurkic. And then 5,300 for Kevon Looney. I'm mildly nervous about it, but with no Draymond Green, I assume Kevon Looney is just going to play like standard-ish starter minutes. I don't think they're really clamoring to get to Usman Garuba as the backup center, and maybe it ends up being a bit more Dario Saric. but I see that value at center making it easier to get to other things. And as I start filling up that center spot, I just naturally lose out a little bit more on Jokic. I have a staggering amount of Kevon Looney right now.
When you say starter minutes, though, I mean, you got to be talking like probably 25, right? Not 30 minutes for Kevon Looney. And
I have him in for 29.
Really? You're going that high on Looney?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you're going to get a ton. Anytime you're projecting a +1 fantasy point per minute guy for close to 30 minutes. Yeah.
By the way, we have it there too. And
wow.
Maybe a different source in the industry as well.
Dude, listen, I'll defer to you on any of this. I just, regular season Kevon Looney, I just would have assumed more around like a 25-minute number there. But
I think with no Draymond there, that really makes a giant difference for them. They need someone to anchor their defense.
It does, for sure. I just meant it's game one. And yeah. But okay. Well, and listen, if you're projecting that many minutes for Looney, then he's going to look fantastic. We'll get there. Let's. You
know what? Let me pull this up quick. I have not done this yet, but I want to do it right now. I'm going to look and see in games that Looney started with Draymond out last year.
How many minutes he got? Sure.
Yep. I hadn't thought about it before. So let's say did not
Probably
play in the
worth
game.
Looking at
Draymond Green. I think it's going to be a lot lower than what we have, but I think it's a different scenario right now. Let's say Kevon Looney started. So no Draymond, Looney starts 9 games. He played 232 minutes. So that's just shy of 26 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I like that. In a competitive game, he probably gets to 28 or 29. If it's not going that way or foul trouble, you get those games that come in at 22, 23, average around 26. I think that makes some sense.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely.
I might take a minute off. It won't make a difference. So I'm still going to be over the field.
It won't make it.
And to be fair, Kevon Looney is the 4th most owned player on today's slate. So I'm not in the minority here.
Man, 2 rebounding behemoths between Golden State and Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm such a sucker for Yusef Nurkic. I love that guy.
59% Yusef Nurkic.
Remember when he had the game that was like 15 points, 19 rebounds, like 10 assists, 5 blocks, 5 steals, or remember that?
I think he has the most recent 5x5.
Yeah, and it was probably 5 years. It was before the refs stepped on his broken leg underneath the basket.
Oh, the worst, dude. Yeah, he does. He has the most recent 5x5, 2019.
I forget the stat line, but it was nuts.
Do you want it?
Yeah, please.
24 points, 23 boards, 7 assists, 5 blocks, 5 steals.
Amazing. I knew it was something nuts like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad passing big man whatsoever. How badly do you think he take Kevin Durant's already kind of an erratic rebounder. How much do you think Yusef Nurkic takes away from that? Because DeAndre Ayton, surely not a prolific rebounder at the center position.
Here are the rebound rates for Yusef Nurkic over the past few years. Offensive rebound rates. And I'm going to go percentile so people don't have to understand it. 85th, 90th, 89th, 87, 97. Here's defensive rebounding. 97, 99, 98, 96, 94. I mean,
what were Ayton's?
Not that. Barring foul trouble for him and one of him and Looney is going to have a really nuts rebounding game.
For sure. And quite frankly, it could be both of them. The only thing that's kind of,
by the way, Ayton's still good. 96, 95, 94.
Honestly better than I would have expected for Ayton.
But Nurk has those seasons where he gets up over 30.
For sure.
Percent.
Another thing, though, when it comes to somebody like Kevon Looney, though, Kevon Looney is a spectacular offensive rebounder.
Yeah.
He had a 16% offensive rebounding rate last year.
Think about those playoff games.
Rate. What?
Think about those playoff games. 20, 22, 21, 23.
Yeah.
He had 420 rebound games in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Both of
Love it.
I mean, are you fine? No reason not to have both of them. I know you said one of them is going to have a big game, but I just want to be clear here. Both of them can still be. Yusef Nurkic is still a polished scorer. He's not always going to put up big numbers, but the guy can still score. Kevon Looney, you're banking on, putbacks because he's a great offensive rebounder and, 18 rebounds.
Yeah, I think I have him projected for 8 and 14 or something like that. I have 50 lineups with Nurk Looney combos.
Okay, I get it. Let's go back to Denver for a second, then we'll pull up the sim and see what that's given us.
Perfect.
Jordan, I'll show you how to navigate that. I want to go to some exposures as well.
Before we do that, it is 5:59, halfway point, 289 likes. So we're on pace for 500. Hit it now. Maybe we just get 500 before we even have to worry about it.
I think that, I don't know if we are on pace. I mean, because likes get front loaded.
Not in my shows.
It's because people are still waiting.
Maybe that's how it works for you. People give up, leave.
Don't. Talking to the master here.
Master Bader.
If you guys, yeah, that too. If you guys could be so kind, see if we get to 500 here. We're 184 away. I think you're right. We probably get there. We're 350. All right, we'll get there. Appreciate you guys. Got to rally everybody. All right. I want to throw this over to you just to break down Denver for a second, because what a there's some teams that will go to their bench quite consistently, and yes, I get it. It's game 1 of the season. They're defending champs. I don't think everyone's going to play 40 minutes at all. I think it's reasonable for me to say that the bench on this team and the depth on Denver has never exactly been their strong suit.
No, there's not a lot of bench to be had today.
Even last year, though, their bench wasn't good.
I have very, very tiny amounts of Julian Strother and Justin Holiday, and that is it. It is the starting 5 and essentially nobody else.
So then how are you
basically impossible?
We know how you're approaching Jokic right now. We talked about some of the pivots you're getting to off of him. And I would imagine you're also not telling people that if they wanted to just go super overweight on Jokic, you wouldn't be opposed to that either.
No, I've said this on the shows earlier. I want to reiterate it again, especially as we get into this Sims tool. If you want to play 0% Nikola Jokic, you can find yourself, if you're playing 150 lineups, you can find 150 lineups that have a positive ROI before lock. If you want to play 100% Nikola Jokic, that you can get to the exact same point. You might be giving up ROI by doing something like that, but whether you have 0 or 100% is, in theory, not a decision point for me. I don't care which direction that goes. It's a bigger picture thing.
Exactly. What about the rest of the starting lineup? Murray's getting 45%. Gordon's getting 45%. KCP 26. MPJ 23%. Looking at the boom bust tool as well, some of these guys kind of jump off the page. Jokic, well, I mean, whatever, 76% boom probability, pretty significant. Jamal Murray, 33%. That's actually lower than ownership. Looking at leverage, though, Jokic, there's nothing. A few of these guys do have slight negative leverage, nothing crazy. KCP, slight positive leverage, but I don't know how much to make of that on a 2-gamer.
I don't mind, not all that important to me individually. It's, if you just stack 8 negative leverage players together, you're probably going to end up with a pretty chalky lineup that isn't ideal. So I don't pay too much attention to it. I don't think you have much of a choice with Denver. You shouldn't feel bad at all about getting any combination of their starting 5 because they're so set in stone. There's no situation. I don't think there's any situation where Christian Brown is going to close over Michael Porter Jr. in the same way that Bruce Brown could have. So I think you're just getting those 5 guys playing 30 plus minutes, probably in a competitive matchup if it is. And you just take what you can. Murray's awesome. Jokic is awesome. Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. are both priced, so it's very easy to get to them both. We're seeing Aaron Gordon is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in ownership. Now I am flip-flopping Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. I have more MPJ than I do Aaron Gordon, but I'm still just getting to a lot of this team other than Jokic.
Yeah, there's a real sketchy, door-to-door looking salesman at the front door.
Your just front door?
Yeah. I mean, just by the look of him.
What's he selling? Well, vacuum cleaners?
I wish I could tell you. I'm going to keep this up until he disappears. He just rang the doorbell, the ring, and then started pounding on the door. Yeah. Odd stuff.
Talk to him. Put him on. Hit the button to talk to the ring. Let's see what he's got to say.
No, you know why? Because these people are, all right, there he goes. Get out of here, fella. These people are relentless. They're relentless. He's coming through at dinner time It's insane.
I don't answer my door, so
Yeah. You wonder why people don't want to answer the door. I mean, it's a sick society we live in where I'm just like watching somebody knock on the door through my phone. I totally understand that, but I'm glad I have it.
I do that when I know who the person is and I still don't go to the door.
Anyway, all right. Do you want to Freddie P said LOL and you sound yeah, my wife and my daughter are upstairs. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge
if you're home alone, I don't think you would care.
No, I'd go.
You might not have acknowledged the phone.
Doesn't get out the front step. No, my daughter and my wife were just outside, and I know they were outside. They were doing sidewalk chalk. So yeah, I think I'm justified in not liking some dude that looks like the guy from True Detective.
Didn't say it. Overrated.
Really?
We've been down this road.
Anyway,
I can't watch Matthew McConaughey be a real person.
He's the man in that. Russ Cole. All right.
He's
Jordan,
Wooderson forever.
Pull up the Sims tool for me for a second, Jordan, just so we can there's a couple things I want to try here. So I want to see, number one, what we're getting. But after that, and Josh, pin this up on the call so we can both actually see it in real time instead of on Zoom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
It's not my first rodeo, sir.
I know, man.
I mean, to be fair, I can't read that shit.
Yeah, that's the problem. Let's see if they can read it on the screen.
Oh, they have to be able to read it on this. If it looks like this on the screen, then we have been doing these shows wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but so a couple things I want to do. First of all, you go into the contest generator, you generate the contest. Yeah. It's essentially trying to replicate the field, right? Yeah. In a way, it's trying to replicate what the lineups in the field are going to be. After you do that, and you can select how many lineups you want to run, whether it's 250, 2,000, depending on the contest size, 5,000. Then you go into the Sims, and after you do that, you can select what the payout is. So like here, you'll see 20. Jordan did 25. We're supposed to do 20. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But like for today, the big contest on DraftKings is 20% to first. Yeah. So it's doing this to show like how not wild, but you want to make sure that you're selecting the right top payout so we can understand how flat the contest is and how different these lineups need to be. Yep. Then you're getting the pre-contest ROI, the simulated ROI, and then everything else in between. So Jordan, do me by the way, 20% off all of our NBA packages. What is it? Lineup generator too, right? If you just wanted to get the lineup generator. Any
package you want, you can get 20% off.
Yeah. So the Sims tool, 20% off first week or first month. This is only going through this week. Link in the description. You'll see it. Click it. Use the promo code TIPOFF, all caps, all one word. Link will take you. I think it auto loads the promo actually if you click it. If you wanted to get the lineup generator, which when you and I did the show for MLB, people just annihilated with the MLB lineup generator.
It's oh god, it's such a good tool. Like if you are just a one or two lineup person, that lineup generator is the absolute nuts for you.
Yeah. Or 20 max, or you're playing like lower stake stuff. Yeah, that'll change the way you play for sure. It's customizable, but it's an easy way in the door if you're not trying to spend additional money. Anyway, go to the Sims tool here, 20% off this. And by the way, it's all of if you get the Sims package, you don't have to get any add-ons. There's no add-ons. It's everything we have for NBA. Yep. Do me a favor, Jordan. I want you to quick favorite 150. Okay. Now go to exposures. So Jokic so we have Jokic. Is that 8?
Is that 82? That's at
82. Okay.
Yeah.
We have Jokic at 82%. Okogie, Paul, Wiggins, Murray, Kuminga. There's Looney. Scroll down a little bit. I want to see how much Yusef Nurkic we have.
Not as much as me.
All right. Now, do me a favor, Jordan. Go up. Actually, hit ROI boosts.
Yeah.
Go to Jokic, deboost him by like 100%. I just want to see what a lot of these no Jokic lineups look like. Okay, just go 100. That's excessive, by the way, but this will drive the point home, I think, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay, now go to boost ROI down there.
There we go.
By the way, guys, this is like what it'll do is it'll deboost or boost the ROI of this player, and then you'll see more lineups pop up. Go to lineups.
Nope, don't do what you're doing, Jordan.
No, go to lineups. Go to quick favorite. Unfavorite all. Now quick favorite 150 again.
Yeah.
And go to the left where you see simulated ROI and sort that from ascending.
One more.
All right.
There you go. No.
All right. So now it's very clear on the screen.
Nope. Sure isn't.
For mine, it is on YouTube.
Oh, that's a different conversation then.
So it's,
I was still looking at Zoom.
so a lot of these are deboosting Jokic a lot and still getting, hold on, Jordan, unfavored him again.
No, hold on. Stop. Go to exposures right now.
Yeah, just go to exposures and see if we're still getting the same amount of Jokic.
Did you unfavorite it?
Oh yeah, that's why. Go favorite 150 again. We need to see this. I want to see what these non-Jokic lineups look like.
Go to exposures.
There you go.
Where did he fall to?
Nurkic is up there a lot.
Nurkic is up to 40, whatever.
There he is, 25%. Yeah. So who's at the top?
Look at me giving out 100 ROI boosts right out of the gate. Basically just my exposures now.
But hold on. This is to your point. Look what happened. Yeah. Kevin Durant, 61%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yusef Nurkic, 43%. I mean, that's less than what I have, but still.
Looney, 54. Chris Paul's still up there. So you kind of see what happens. I love being able to, if you want, to boost and deboost. I'm not saying go wild with it, but it's a neat feature to use for sure.
It's great. Look, people always want to have anybody can just open this up, run the simulation, take the top 150, but you're missing some of the nuance of what this is. And I also think it's exactly what people are looking for, because people don't just like, I know I want just raw data and I don't care, but a lot of people want to get their hands dirty for this kind of stuff. And if you could start moving people around and moving stuff up with boost, you're not necessarily taking lineups that were straight ass and now creating them to be part of your player pool. You're taking like the 170th ranked lineup that wasn't in your top 150 before, and by giving those two slight boosts, now it's 140, and it's putting that dude that wasn't in as many lineups into your player pool. You're not just grabbing from the bottom. Exactly. Yep. You're just moving, you're shifting deck chairs of positive ROI lineups. Yeah,
you're not adjusting.
On a day like tomorrow, you will have infinite lineups like that on a 12-game slate.
You're not arbitrarily adjusting projections. You're moving lineups up that already existed, that were already plus EV lineups. Yeah, exactly. All right. But yeah, guys, 20% off, link down there. Tip off is the promo. 20% off lineup generator or the Sims data tool, Sims Max, whatever you want. It's down there. I think these are going to crush for NBA, and I'm very excited about them, man. All right.
Yeah.
What do you?
It's so good. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's just a couple button clicks and you have thousands of lineups generated and evaluated, every player's individual ROI. The level of data that you get out of this now is just such a gigantic step forward. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's 20%. Like, just come in for a week. Just come in for a week.
Greg and Steve did a full 30-minute video on everything you need to know for it too on YouTube. So if you decide to sign up,
late swap is available in this tool. So if Devin Booker happens to get ruled out later tonight, this tool will help you late swap your lineups into positive ROI plays.
Yep. Good call. Yeah. And all you do literally is take your entries, load them in and hit late swap. Yeah. And you can make your own adjustments, but you don't have to if you don't have time. Phoenix is a 2.5-point dog. Golden State, slight favorites at home, 234.5 total here. Commonplace for today's NBA, but that used to be a monster number. Bradley Beal is unlikely to play, still technically a game time decision. Draymond Green is out for Golden State. So let's talk about this for a second, where you've got this Phoenix team. If you're getting a ton of Jokic, how much, we already saw that with the SIP, but maybe it's different elsewhere if you're using different projections. How much of this Phoenix team at the top of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant do you think you get to if you're going overweight or even close to the field on Nikola Jokic?
So you're going to end up with a lot less Durant, I think, pretty naturally. We're seeing Durant coming in at 39%. I think he immediately gets cut. The more Jokic you have, look, he's 10K. He's not expensive, like, relative to himself. His price tag isn't, like, he's underpriced for today, but he's still 20% of your salary cap by using Nikola Jokic. at a position that is locked down very specifically to center. So the more Jokic you have, the less you're just going, which is obviously stupid to say, but the more Jokic you have, the less you're going to get the other expensive guys.
Yeah, I totally get it. But what I meant is that they're not also 10K guys. They're still somewhat affordable. So yeah, they're going to get axed. You're going to take a haircut on those guys. But yeah, it's Phoenix in a 2.5 point game, 234.5 point total on a 2-game slate. And you know what? These guys, what do you think? What do you think Booker and Durant's price points would be at if Beal wasn't on this team, or we knew that Beal was ruled out 3 weeks ago?
I think it probably looks a little bit more like,
I think they're low.
They get bumped like the Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like LeBron's at 9,300. I think you probably see Kevin Durant more in that like 89, 9K range. And then you see Booker similar, probably, $600-700 more expensive.
Yep. But they're definitely discounted. That's all I'm saying. They're definitely discounted.
Yeah. No, without quite. Yeah. Look, and the problem for all of this is that Beal's price was the most ridiculous of all of them. He was like 5,900 or 6,400 or some sort of stupid shit.
Hold on. Let me see what he actually is.
Hold on. I had it. He was 6,900.
69. I was going to say 5,900. He would be 90%.
Talking on my ass. But 6,900. Well, he was, like second in ownership or something like that before he got ruled out earlier today. 6,900 for Bradley Beal. Like you would think that was a misprint if you looked at it at first.
Yeah, late swap feature could amazingly, somehow, ridiculously come in handy in the first game of the season with a 2-game slate.
Yeah, it's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb.
All right. How many, I know you can pull this up. How many Durant Booker together lineups do you have? Can you pull that up?
Durant, 16.
Out of what, 150?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 10%.
That's a decent amount for both of them. What do those lineups look like is the question. If you're pulling both of them together, are those the only two studs in the lineup? I assume Chris Paul's in all of them.
He is in all 16.
Yeah.
No, LeBron is in a couple. AD's in a couple. Jamal Murray's in a third of them, but that's 7,500. So if we're just talking about other pay-ups, let's see. I've got an AD lineup with those guys. I've got a LeBron lineup with those guys. I've got 5 with Murray.
Okay. I know you have a lot of Durant. How much Booker exposure right now?
21.
Okay. So you're actually very underweight on Booker, overweight on Durant. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I'm more than happy to like pseudo flip-flop those two guys.
Sure. How do you approach guys like Eric Gordon here? Shooting guard, small forward. I know Yusef Nurkic, we talked about him. $6,300. That's why I'm always a sucker for Nurkic, because so often he's at a price point where you go, my God, he could smash this price point. Like that, at 6,300. If Yusef Nurkic has even something close to one of his, signature performances and gets the minutes have always been so volatile with him, but this guy could easily play 24 minutes and have 40 in the right situation. So I can see why anyone would. Plus, he's only 26% owned in our ownership projections.
Like I have a much heavier projection on Nurk than we do, but even still, like at 6,300, you're probably looking for something in that like 38, 39, 40 fantasy point range. Like if he hits 40, that's exactly what you're looking for. And with the way Golden State plays, like if Golden State has a bad shooting day, that is the linchpin to Yusef Nurkic going crazy.
Big time.
Like defensive rebounds are everything that he's looking for. I got him projected for 13 rebounds.
Yeah. Have there ever been I wonder if there ever been studies done on like heavy 3-pointing teams if centers collect less rebounds just because of where the ball's being shot from?
I mean, you definitely end up with longer rebounds for sure.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like some of those stay-at-home centers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It definitely changes the scope of the rebounding. It's probably better for like rebounding guards.
Yeah.
Probably better for like a Russell Westbrook situation.
Oh, it'd be huge for a Russ. Yeah. Or like a real athletic 4. But yeah, anyway. So Eric Gordon, I guess we're both in agreement here that Nurkic is just a really high. He's always volatile, but a high upside play here. How much did you say you have of him?
59.
Okay, so that's a stand for sure.
It is. I don't love it either, if it helps.
You know what I don't love? Ever playing Josh Okogie, and he's getting 42% ownership.
Not for me, he's not.
Yeah, I just smashed unders on him all postseason and did quite well with that. I mean, he essentially fell out of the rotation at one point. You remember that?
He had a really big yo-yoing of his season. He's solid. Like he's great defensively and really not great offensively. But he peaked big time in February, and then all of a sudden it got real bad.
Yeah, he's cheap too. Who's your favorite cheap option here for Phoenix?
I wish I didn't spell the word play wrong there. Eric Gordon, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially with Beal out now. I gave him 28 minutes. Shooting guard, small forward. Like he's just going to be involved. The fact that he's $600 cheaper than Grayson Allen, I think really helps. I think he's probably the more likely like closing type guy.
What are you projecting his minutes and Grayson Allen's minutes for? Because Grayson Allen's pulling 2% ownership. Gordon's at 33% right now.
I have 28 for Gordon and 25 for Grayson Allen. And I assume Allen starts.
Do you think there should be that big of a discrepancy in ownership then?
What's the gap?
33% to Gordon, 2% for Allen?
No.
Like that would be crazy.
No, I don't. That seems aggressive.
And at this stage of his career, how much different really is Eric Gordon than Grayson Allen?
Not all that different. Let me see what I have their gap in points per minute. So that's I changed my abbreviations and it's really starting to bother me. I think they're basically the same guy.
That's what I'm saying. Now, one of them's more expensive by $600, but the other's getting very little. I would assume. Let me update our ownership. I wonder if when we rerun this, do you think Grayson Allen comes up?
Possibly see it climb a little bit once he's like officially named a starter.
I just know that the projected starting lineup was Grayson Allen in it on a 2-gamer. I assume that would have some bit of, of motion there.
Booker, Allen, Okogie, Durant, Nurkic.
Anything else you want to hit on for Phoenix? Maybe Drew Eubanks down there, 4,700.
I think he's really sneaky on a slate like this. I'm not getting to him the way that I want to get to him, which is frustrating me a little bit. He's a guy that I had my eye on even before the pricing came out. But unfortunately, it doesn't appear that I'm going to be getting Drew Eubanks. I gave him 19 minutes, but he's still not showing up for me.
Okay, fair enough. Should we talk Golden State here before we turn this one over to Live Before Lock?
Let's do it. 500 likes, by the way.
You were right.
Told you.
Oh,
I don't ever doubt chat.
Neither do I. I don't know why I've become that guy lately. Usually it's Neil and Ben that doubt him. I'm like, no, we got this. I don't know. Maybe feeling a little down lately, taking it out on chat. That's not true. I feel pretty good. Who's on Live Before Lock, Jordan? Greg and Eric. Stick around, taking you up to tip off. Big shoes to fill, big.
And you know what they say about big shoes.
Big socks, fella.
Yeah.
A lot to follow. No, those guys are awesome, man. They're going to put together an awesome show as they always do. Doing Live Before Lock is so much different than the Deeper Dive. Personally, I would much rather do the Deeper Dive.
I hate Live Before Lock.
Yeah. I don't even just mean because trying to get lineups in. I like that's obviously a factor, like a huge factor for NBA. But I'm saying as far like the structure of Deeper Dive, I'm so used to it. We've been doing it forever.
I bounce between the two sometimes, and it's hard. It's two very different shows.
Yeah, for sure. 2,400 people with us, by the way. Appreciate you guys hanging out and deciding to hang with us here on opening night for NBA. Golden State Chris Paul ownership is wild, but he's $5,600.
Yeah, he's amazing.
What do you think? I wanted to ask you this going into the show. So what do you think this offense looks like now with a Paul Curry backcourt?
I don't like it. I hate the fit.
I don't love it either. That's why I'm asking. I thought you might have had more positive sentiment.
No, I mean, he plays in like the exact opposite way that the Warriors like to play, which is an interesting look. Do I think I assume they're trying to unload him at some point in time and use that salary slot the same way that they used D'Angelo Russell in the past. Because I don't think that Chris Paul in this team is something that makes your playoff ceiling higher. That said, there's no reason that he can't go out and like do Chris Paul things during regular season games, especially against a Phoenix team that is going to be pretty bad defensively. And, revenge narrative. Chris Paul petty as shit. If anybody's going to have a revenge narrative going back to their former team, like I would expect Chris Paul to care about this one.
Yeah, it's possible. I think he'd probably care more if he was on the Pistons.
Well, I think the problem here is that half the Suns aren't really from the previous regime. The coach is gone. So, like, it's a lot less. I don't think that Chris Paul has some giant Kevin Durant problem.
Yeah, me neither. But this team's so cheap, dude. They really, Chris Paul 56, Wiggins 55, Kevon Looney 53, Thompson 65 short. And then obviously Curry's the one up there at 9,200.
Yeah.
But Saric, we have him getting around 16%. Jonathan Kuminga, $4,600. Just a really cheap team.
Yeah, they're the hardest team to get away from in terms of value. They're just not priced correctly. And that is leading me to all things Warriors. 94% Paul, 70% Looney, 60% Wiggins, 30 plus of Clay and Kuminga, still getting 26% Steph. I actually have Gary Payton sneaking in the lineups right now, which I hate, but whatever. You got to get to somebody like that. They're just not priced right. And not having Draymond really opens up an extra 30 minutes, which is helpful.
They're cheap.
They are. But look, it's the best matchup on the slate. They get the Suns. They're the worst defense by far. This is a game that's way more likely to profile heavy offense. And Chris Paul's price, is $5,600. That's a very insane price tag to think about. This is a guy that was last year basically mid sevens or 8K the entire season.
It's amazing. And I understand that, the funny thing is that you go from playing alongside Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. It's not like you're going to a place where your price tag should be cheaper than it was.
No, not that. Right? He could be 5,600 or 6,600 today, still be in a different price tier than he was for all of last season and still be a really good play today.
That's what I mean. Yeah. He's not playing now along like Giannis and Damian Lillard. He's going to a team where, you have Klay Thompson, great, but also Klay Thompson plays off like you're giving Klay Thompson the shots, Yeah. Klay Thompson's not bringing the ball up the court. Neither is Andrew Wiggins in most cases.
So like Chris Paul is like the opposite of Nurkic for today, because if the Warriors have a great shooting day, Chris Paul is going to end up with like 18 assists.
Exactly. Aren't you kind of interested to see in regular season though how the ball's distributed between the backfield? Or backcourt. So there it is. Football mode.
There you go.
I did pretty good, dude. Yeah. I went almost an hour without making a reference to that.
That's not bad. Yeah, look, it's going to be a really weird dynamic because you really just haven't seen Steph play alongside anybody that dominates the ball like that in a different way. But that's also going to allow Steph to just be running, Steph and Clay just running off of all sorts of screens and causing havoc. And you give those guys a whisper of space, and all of a sudden that ball's already in the net and they're back on D.
Any other thoughts on the Warriors here? Favorite options, pivots, stands?
Now, hold on. I got to handle something for the first time.
What, in chat?
Yeah. Done. Got it. Oh, God. Sometimes those don't ever go away.
Oh, man. He was in there this morning on the strategy show and we had words. Well, I did.
I can't imagine being such like a sad person.
What's that?
I can't imagine being so sad that I would continue to show up at a place where I wasn't liked.
Well, who's going to like you when you don't have civil conversation?
That's true.
I've told you there's a ton of people that, say wild stuff, but they're nice in chat and they're nice people. It doesn't bother me.
I gave Drop Roses credit.
I know.
Today.
I know you always have it out with Sean V. Sean V. I like Sean V. I think
so do I.
I think he's good for the community, and he's nice. Yeah. He's friendly. You know what I mean?
He's simple, but
no, come on. See, you.
I don't say like it's a bad. I don't begrudge him.
But Sean V's the type of guy. He's the type of guy when you say that he'll put like an LOL in chat. So yeah, those people are fine with me.
Anyway, doesn't think I'm talking about him. That's probably why he laughs. On the Warriors. Play them. Play a lot of them. It's these guys are just simply Paul, Looney, Wiggins, Clay, Steph. Like most of these guys are just not priced correctly. They're the most underpriced team as a collective, and they get to face a Phoenix team that is going to be quite poor defensively relative to the rest of this slate, or they're not playing in elevation. Like to get a Yusef Nurkic, Drew Eubanks led front court, there's not a lot of rim protection for Phoenix.
Exactly. Someone said, how do you get banned from here? Yeah, we don't ban anybody. Hey,
I mean, I ban Cats every time he shows up, but that guy has like 8 million YouTube.
I'm saying like he's
now.
The only one. Should we? Yeah. Before we turn this over, we got about 45 seconds. Should we? Should we run the lineup generator real quick for the people so we can see what's popping up in that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. This is our like lowest. This is the one. It's the as far as like tools go that you're getting in at a price that is affordable to almost anybody. This is, you won't find the better one in the industry, guaranteed. All right, go to DraftKings main. Let's go to all lineups.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the best point per dollar product we have.
For sure. Skip, and people were crushing with it too.
This is the Chris Paul of today's slate.
Yep. Pretty much.
Chris Paul's going to get 8 fantasy points now.
So if you scroll down, you can see the optimal projection. You can also see how chalky or contrarian the lineup is. You're going to want to find the balance there, and you'll figure out what you like best yourself, right? Like this is a really well projecting. It's not that chalky at all.
No. Dario Saric there is helpful.
Yeah, Saric there is very helpful. But you have Jokic in there. You have Kevon Looney. Scroll up. So a lot of Warriors, but it's going to be hard to get away from them at those price points, man. They don't need to go nuclear.
Yeah. I like it a lot. So that's
do me a favor.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I like the Saric Looney combo in that lineup. That I think is going to be a very unique twosome.
Yeah, especially because Looney can do so much in so little time. Jordan, just save 20 real quick. I just want to see our exposures. And you can discard the ones you don't like. We're already running the lineups, as Josh puts it, always like simulating them behind the scenes. This is the Sims tool light, really, when you think about it.
It is. We've already thrown out the trash.
Yeah, you're only getting positively projected ROI lineups. So ton of Jokic in those 20, all of them. Wiggins, but like you said, you want to get to 100, fine. You want to get to 0, fine. Koji, Paul, Jamal Murray, a lot of Looney. All right, so not in a spot like this, I would definitely go through some of these, and I would find some Yusef Nurkic lineups that I like. That's me. That's just me. I would want to get a little bit more than 15%.
Team Nurk, baby.
Yeah, man. Him and Looney. We'll see how it plays out for us. Hey, follow Josh. And by link in the description, all of our, whether it's a lineup generator or the Sims package, which includes everything, 20% off. We're only doing this for a few days. So promo code tip off. I think it preloads, but whatever. You guys are the best, man. Appreciate you. 623 likes. All right. Let's go, baby.
Told you.
Follow Josh at Josh Engleman on Twitter, me at Laffy_D, LOUGHY_D. And shout out to Jordan Klein for producing this one. As always, we'll catch you back here for the next one. Good luck, guys. Basketball's back. Peace.
Of course, FanDuel logs me out now.
What is happening, everybody? It is Eric who, oh my God, this guy, we don't do basketball shows for like 6 months. He forgets how it works. We're about to start and he starts complaining about how he can't log into FanDuel. You probably have to authenticate that you're a human.
Oh my God.
And all kinds of issues. What's up, guys? Basketball season's back. If you guys haven't done it yet, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got a good one coming for you. First slate of the year. It's only 2 games. Eric and I are still going to be sticking around for 30 minutes post-locks. You guys got 90 minutes of Eric and I. If you got questions for us in Discord, hit me up, tag me. We can answer those questions over the course of the show. I see that we've got a super chat already in here from Ace of Spade asking about DK tiers. So we're going to on everything there is to cover for this 2-game slate. And there's also lots of good value out with sportsbooks trying to acquire new people getting the door. Also, same with pick'em sites. So today we're sponsored by Bet365. And listen to this, Eric. If you guys sign up at Bet365 right now using the link we have below, you wager $5 and they're going to give you $150 in bonus bets totally for free. If you live in Kentucky, they have a special offer in Kentucky where it's $1 into $365. So take advantage of this offer available for the start of the NBA season. It's free money. You don't want to pass up on it. If you or anybody know has a gambling problem, call or text the number 1-800-GAMBLER. Eric, what's happening? You ready for basketball to start here?
Yeah, I got into FanDuel. That was exciting. I'm so excited to have NBA back. Good to see some familiar faces that maybe weren't around for MLB. Maybe you get to hang out with us a little bit on Sundays, but tip to tip, it's back. It's back.
Tip to tip. But, and also, nuke. I was thinking we should start having like a nuke. We should have like a nuke play of the day. We have to find more things that we're going to,
Nurkic.
Brand around here.
Nuking Nurkic.
All right, you don't have to spoil it right now. It's like, why are we even doing a 90-minute show if you're just right off the back and give away all the information, Eric?
90 minutes?
90.
It's a lot. It's a lot of minutes to hang out.
It is. It's going to be a lot of time. And it's also why, if you guys have questions, leave them in the Discord and tag me so we can answer those over the course of the show. Super chats already flowing in here. But I think that is something we should start doing, Eric. And I think the people should be excited for it. Once per show that Eric and I do together, the nuke play of the day where Eric gives out his favorite contrarian GPP play. What do you think about that?
I'm a big fan of it. Today, it's a fucking terrible play. So I'm just going to throw it out there. So enjoy.
Not yet.
It's not Nurkic. It's not Nurkic. The guy that I'm rostering today, I probably should not. We'll put it that way.
All right. So we'll say at the halfway mark of live before lock. So 7 p.m. Eastern time. Get ready for the Eric nuke play of the night, something we're newer incorporating into the show. And let's open up with some of the super chats here. And if you guys have not done it, do us a favor, like I said, support the channel, like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Ace of Spade wants to know who we like in DK tiers tonight, Eric. So DK tiers, this is the first thing we're starting off with here.
Of course it is.
About tiers. Have you built out tiers lineups for tonight?
I did. I actually made sure that I did it because I figured there was probably a chance of it happening. And there's only, 6 tiers today. So it was pretty simple to do.
Yeah, so I am pulling up the tiers.
Jokic by a landslide in tier 1, so we don't even need to talk about that.
Yeah, so we have 6 tiers to go over. Tier 1 for me, yeah, it's the same. It is Jokic by a really wide margin. The other options are Curry, Durant, LeBron. If we had a scenario where Booker was ruled out in addition to Beal, because, we did have earlier in the day where all kinds of nonsense from the Suns. This guy's in, this guy's out, this guy's in, this guy's out. I think we would have had a discussion if both Booker and Beal were out for the Suns to talk about Durant versus Jokic, but it doesn't matter because Booker's playing today. So Nikola Jokic in tier 1. Tier 2, we have Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, who is out today, so you don't want to play him. Between Booker, AD, and Jamal Murray, I think there's 2 pretty clear top options, either Booker or AD with Murray falling behind those 2. Who do you prefer between Booker and Davis tonight? AD? I'm going to lean towards Booker with Beal being out. It's very close, though. I think you're splitting hairs. Like, if you guys were playing 10 lineups, I think you're going like 5 Booker, 5 AD in tier 2. Very close for me between those 2. Tier 3. Do you like Nurkic, perhaps? You have been just excited to yell his name out.
Yeah. Nurk. Good.
I'm going to agree with you. Yusef Nurkic in tier 3. Tier 4, we have Chris Paul, Aaron Gordon, Andrew Wiggins, Michael Porter Jr., and Kevon Looney. So it's funny because this is a lot of the Uber chalk in the classic DFS contest. For tier 4, though, who stands out to you the most?
Andrew Wiggins.
I'm going to go with Chris Paul in the absence of Draymond Green. I think the Warriors are
going to be so damn popular in tiers. And it's going to be really, like, in terms of projection, just because if you're playing classic and you're playing tiers, people are just going to click on Chris Paul anyway. So I'm going to artificially just go with Andrew Wiggins. Or not artificially, actually, officially. There we go. Go with Wiggins.
Tier 5, where we've got some more of the bench players to work in here. And here's a question, because we do have Jonathan Kuminga in tier 5. Is your opinion that Jonathan Kuminga or Chris Paul ends up ultimately starting for the Warriors tonight?
I believe that it's going to be Chris Paul.
Okay. So with that in mind, who do you like in tier 5? Kuminga's in this bucket of players.
Yeah, I still think he's going to play off the bench. Had a really good preseason, Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, good Jonathan Kuminga for myself as well. Now, tier 6, to me, there's only 2 real legitimate options here. It is either Josh Okogie or Eric Gordon. I lean towards Okogie, but what about yourself?
Same.
All right, that is going to do it for tiers today. Thank you very much for the super chat, Ace of Spade. We do appreciate it. As for the next question that we have in here, we have, by the way, Race Fan 22, Jordan, was that question answered during the last show? If not, I'll hit on it now. Was not answered. Did they do anything on the last show? No. Okay. So there are. Okay, because there's a lot of super chats in here.
Let's catch them up.
I'll just shout out some of the other ones.
Gotta catch them all.
Avi Schreier left a super chat, said, good luck, everybody, tonight and all year. Thank you, Avi. Teddy Wayman said, NBA is back, LFG. And then 2 exclamation points. Yes, let's fucking go, Teddy. Chris Williams gifted out some YouTube memberships. Then we've got Toasted Biscuits saying the NBA Dream Team is back. I assume he means us and not some other combination of people.
That would be awkward.
From the other show, Jordan Klein?
It's not you guys.
I'm going to take it. I'm
taking credit for it anyway. I'm reading it now. It wasn't directed at us, but I'm taking credit for it. Because you told me that those buffoons from the last show didn't even read any of the super chats or anything. So what do I care? We're taking credit for it. That was directed towards Eric and myself. Then we've got Willie Jones saying, let's get it. Anthony DLC, welcome back. The perfect man is my avatar reppin'. Then Race Fan 22. Braun or Gordon on DK, assuming Beal is out. And yes, I'm assuming Beal is out. It is a little annoying that Woj reported he's going to be a game time decision. Is that anything that's giving you any sort of pause or hesitation, Eric?
No.
Same. I'm assuming he's out. If not, it would be like the 3rd time I'm wrong with something regarding the Suns injury.
They just absolute twats. Like, what are we doing?
So Christian Brown, I should say.
There you go. You caught it this time. Good job.
Christian Brown or Eric Gordon? Let me go ahead and
Eric Gordon. But
today.
I mean, everything is relative also to ownership on a 2-game slate. So it's leverage, it's finding things and opportunities that might be unseen. Eric Gordon is not going to go unseen relative to Christian Brown.
Yeah, for me, it is going to be Eric Gordon. It's not like Gordon's a massively popular player on this slate. I have 15% exposure to him, which is actually I'm well underweight to the field on Gordon. Now that I'm looking that he's projected for 33% ownership, and my final run here does have him 15%. I don't assume that I'm going to have to update lineups because there shouldn't be any nonsense that happens from now until the start of the slate. But
never say that.
Never know.
You never know.
The one positive at the very least is we do have a really cool late swap tool now for NBA over on the site. So if all hell does break loose and like Beal gets ruled in, there's weird starting lineups, I'll just plug everything into the late swap tool, which if you guys haven't checked out our NBA package yet, sign up, link below, promo code TIPOFF, 20% off anything that you want, whether it's the Sims package, if you just want the lineup generator, 20% off. And that offer is only going to be available for the first week of the season. But yeah, I might have to do late swapping, which I didn't expect to have to do for a 2-game slate. But anyway, I'm underweight to the field on Eric Gordon, considering his ownership, Eric. And the answer for me here for Race Fans question, I do prefer Eric Gordon to Christian Brown, but I am underweight to the field on Eric Gordon. How about yourself?
I am underweight to Eric Gordon as well.
And now the next question here is from Jay. Jay wants to know showdown, Suns, Warriors. Let's hit on that in the post-lock show. And actually one thing we could do that I think would be fun, because we do have NBA Showdown supported in the Sims tool now. We could throw that up on screen in the post-lock show, and we could build some lineups and see what ends up standing out there. So, Jay, I bookmarked that. We'll answer that post-lock. Kicker says, universe is back in order. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you, Kicker. We do appreciate it. So, Eric, let's go ahead and start talking about the slate as a whole right now, beginning with the pay-up options. And then we'll get into some of the other questions we're going to get along the way, maybe some news that breaks. Of the pay-up options on the slate, which, there are a handful, and we'll call anybody over 8K as a pay-up option. Who's the one you were getting the most exposure to?
Yeah, it's going to be Jokic. This is not any kind of a news alert. He's very good at basketball, and he's very good at fantasy basketball. And what happens when you end up getting another piece ruled out like a Bradley Beal here in this spot is you're going to run into some value on that side of things. And it just opens all hell loose. Like we can get to him pretty easily. And he's 64.3% owned. He's the highest owned of the studs, but the reason is very clear. There is value, and we have cheapies everywhere. We have the Wiggins, Looney situation here. No Draymond Green opened up things because when guys are priced in for players to be in and then they are out, that's the trickle-down effect. So with Chris Paul, Wiggins, Looney, all these other popular guys around it, it is so hard not to just click on Nikola Jokic's name. Looked good in the preseason last time out, 28 minutes, and just went nuclear. So I'm very happy to be playing Jokic as my highest owned stud.
I have a question for you. Are you playing on FanDuel and DraftKings today?
I am playing both, yes.
My answer is different on the two different sites. On DraftKings, it's very close to me. I have like nearly identical exposure to Jokic and Booker.
Center's awesome on FanDuel. It's fun.
Yeah, if you're going all the way up to the expensive guys, like if we're not considering Jokic and Booker in the same price tier on DraftKings, then the answer is Jokic. But I have very similar exposure to the two of them. I think they're the two best pay-up options over on DK. I know Bradley Beal was presumably ruled out earlier, and Booker was questionable on the injury report. I'm not too concerned about injuries to Booker. I think there was a lot of like just weirdness with the Suns injury report. It's like game one of the NBA season. We already have to start with the fuckery. Do we have to do it right out of the gate? Game one. Apparently the Suns had to. But no concerns with me with Devin Booker. So getting to Booker and Jokic as my top pay-up options on DraftKings for FanDuel purposes, and this is primarily because we can only roster one center, and both Looney and Jokic look pretty good over on FanDuel. It kind of splits my exposure to the two of them. So by that reason, I end up getting to Steph Curry as my most rostered pay up on FanDuel.
Yep, 10K, a lot easier to land on him there. I am the same way. Kevin Durant, pretty close for me too. I'm just nuking him up as well. But with Nurkic, with Kevon Looney, with a number of these other guys that exist at the center position, you can play Anthony Davis power forward center over at FanDuel. With Jokic center only over there, and you don't have the opportunity to play two centers, definitely going to be somebody that I'm going to be getting exposure to other pieces on this slate. That's kind of why you want to be playing at multiple sites.
Yeah, and it's funny, if I go and look at FanDuel, I have Steph Curry in 60.7% of my lineup. So that is 91 of my top 150 lineups after running everything through our Sims tool, contest generator. I get 91 out of 150 of my lineups have Steph Curry. Whereas on DraftKings, I have 28.7% of Steph Curry. He is in 43 of my top 150 lineups. So massive difference on Steph Curry for me between the two sites, where I have twice as much of him on FanDuel than I do on DK. It's one way you just kind of end up diversifying your portfolio by playing on the two different sites. Got a super chat here from Orion, who's saying for a FanDuel GPP, would you stack a game? So go 8-1. If you were stacking a game, which would you choose? So two-part question, Eric. Number one, do you like a game stack for today? And if so, which game?
Phoenix, Golden State, not close.
Two reasons why. I agree with you, by the way. Number one is it's just a game that I think is more offensively friendly. It also is the better value of the two games on the slate. Of the teams that we're looking at, say like the Lakers are the one that I have by far the least amount of exposure to, right? And it's for different reasons. The Warriors, there's just some pricing value because Draymond Green is out. From the Suns, there's pricing value because Beal is out. The Denver Nuggets, they have Jokic, who is Jokic. And then the Lakers, I just find them to be the hardest team to get to, which kind of just naturally makes Suns Warriors the game-to-game stack. And I assume it's more or less the same logic from you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Orion, yes, I do like a game stack on FanDuel, and it'd be the Suns Warriors game. Same goes for DraftKings as well. If you guys are looking to stack a game, I think that is the preferred one to go after and attack. Relating to the question I'd asked you before about pay-up options, do you have a least favorite pay-up option on this slate?
Ooh, see, that's a fun question. Let me group it by my lineups currently. Looks like on DraftKings is Devin Booker.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
So
which is weird.
Opposite ends of the spectrum here.
So, I mean, 40
familiar with the spectrum. I'm
right off the bat, really?
Yeah.
So here's the thing: LeBron James is 8%. He's in like his infinitieth season in the NBA, but he's 8.2% on the road here in Denver against a team that knocked him out of the Western Conference Finals. I think you just fire it up and you get to a little bit over the field on 8% LeBron on a 2-game slate. Steph Curry, about appropriate on DK. You do get the 3-point bonuses, yay. But like still 18.5%, pretty efficient. I want to get to a lot of other Golden State pieces, as does everybody else over Steph Curry on DraftKings. FanDuel is going to be where I get my exposure to him. AD, 17%. I'm going to be over that for sure. Kevin Durant might be over it. It's kind of been the piece that keeps going back and forth for me. But I think Devin Booker ends up really popular at 8,300. We have him at 47% owned here at Stochastic right now. And I'm looking around the industry, some other spots, and trying to get a gauge of like where he's going to land, because it's such an obvious spot, but like maybe he is a little bit dinged up and maybe they don't give him the full run rate out of the gate. It would be a little bit silly. Just rest him if he were dinged up, like to the point of whatever here for the very first game of the season. But at 8,300, something tells me he ends up getting jammed, and we'll be able to react to the ownership in that first game at the end of the show. You're going to want to stick around, because I think what it does is it gives us clues on where some of these other guys are going to land based on point guard, shooting guard. And because of the multi-positional eligibility, because he's got a price point that's just sticking out like a sore thumb, and there's no Bradley Beal, I think he ends up pretty popular. And so maybe this is just one of those things that I'm just forcing to get a little bit less, because I think that price tag is very alluring.
Yeah, so for me, I have the least of LeBron. That's for both FanDuel and DraftKings. It's for two reasons. Number one, if I'm paying up for a stud from the Lakers, I am getting to AD more than I end up getting to LeBron. I prefer Anthony Davis. Another thing, too, is I do think we're going to see a little bit of a reduction in playing time for LeBron this year, because he was banged up. Well, he's been banged up a lot the last few years. And I think you get to a certain point in time at LeBron's age, the amount of mileage on him, to keep him healthy for the playoffs, you just have to limit his workload in the regular season. And the NBA, they have all these rules now about trying to limit players and how much they are going to be rested and load managed. It's going to mean nothing. It's going to have no impact on whether teams actually end up sitting guys or not. But I do think we're going to see LeBron play a little bit less minutes this year, just to keep him preserved.
I feel like I've said that the last 4 years with LeBron, though.
It did happen a little bit last year. If we look at,
there were times.
Let's see.
God, my allergies are terrible. Anybody else's allergies just absolutely out of control right now?
Just you.
Good talk. Okay.
What are you allergic to?
Everything. My dog included. But
oh my God, he's attacking.
Yeah, he's cute. It's okay.
So LeBron played 35.5 minutes per game last year. The year before, he played 37.2. I mean, 35.5, still a pretty sizable amount. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing like 33 or 32 minutes per game this season.
Okay. I mean, that would actually, if he's out there, he's going to play. It's like legacy talk. And like, again, you're just going to, if you're LeBron, who spends $1 bazillion on his body every single season, he's just built different. The guy is out of control good. I have felt like that workload was going to get reduced for like 3 or 4 years, and it just never seems to happen. So I'll probably take the over of 33 for sure. 34, you could probably talk me into it, but like, it just seems like he's never going to go away, and he's just going to be around until his son joins up with him somewhere, until the wheels fall off. He's just out of control. Best we've ever seen in terms of stability here in the NBA.
All right, we got some questions in Discord. We also got a super chat from Jacob Kalpachik. Oh boy,
Careful.
am nowhere.
Careful.
I am nowhere.
You never know.
His last name, it ends with a CZYK. It's very difficult to pronounce.
That's not. Yeah, that makes it tough. But here's the thing: he's got the one with the little dancing balloons and Coal Patch. I think that's what it is.
This is his first super chat. So Jacob, thank you. There is no question included in it. If you have a question, you don't have to leave us another super chat. Oh, you got it? What is the... Okay.
Jordan Klein in mid-season form early. Let's go.
Jordan, the people want to hear your voice. So what I would like you to do is to turn your mic on and read the question to the audience so they could hear their dear friend again.
Jacob Capelozzo's top three values on DraftKings.
Top 3 values on DraftKings. Eric, who are the cheap players you're getting the most exposure to in your lineups on DK?
I will pull that up here.
And we'll say sub 5K.
Sub 5. Oh, so we got to go below the Paul Wiggins crew where you're clicking on them. Josh Okogie 1. I don't think it's relatively close to Josh. Then Kuminga would be 2. Again, I think he's coming off the bench, but that might actually be a good thing when you do some on-off court. And again, you're kind of making assumptions on what Chris Paul is going to be doing within this offense. And it is an interesting, I think it's going to take a little bit for Golden State to gel with all 3 of them, but it is Chris Paul. Steph Curry's always been able to play on ball, off ball, do whatever, because he's a freak. And Klay Thompson, one of the best off ball guards of all time. So that's not going to be hugely problematic. I'm going to skip out, though, on the KCP and Eric Gordon in terms of like where we're looking at. I'm going to go to my guy that just feels disgusting. I'm going to roster Dario Saric today, and it feels horrible, absolutely horrible. But I think he's like your leverage guy off of some of the other Golden State chalk, and I have way too much of him. I'm not going to call him the nuke play yet, but that's the nuke play.
I have him in 48.7% of my lineups on.
You're with me?
Yeah. So,
dude, we're sick people.
My answers are Kuminga, Saric, and Okogie. We've got the same 3 dudes.
Dude, I have 4. You said 48%?
48.7 if we're being exact.
So so there you go.
I have on DK, I have 48.7% of Saric. On FanDuel, I have 36.7%. So this is my contrarian guy for tonight.
That's my guy too. I was going to say, we didn't talk at all before this show. We've been doing content on content and, working our little tushies off, getting ready for NBA season. 12 games tomorrow. That's going to be fun. But like, Saric is the dude today, right?
There's very few. It's a 2-game slate, right? There aren't that many options. If you're trying to figure out who is a contrarian guy that has some legitimate upside, to me, it is Saric. This is a new rotation for the Warriors. We don't know what the team is going to look like without Draymond Green. And yeah, I like Kuminga a bunch too, but I do think that there's a chance that Saric ends up being the guy they go to off the bench, and the field just isn't clicking that button. And if you're trying to look at the slate and trying to find what spots could I potentially be contrarian, there's just not that many to look at. And there is a path for Dario Saric. And like you said, it's not only that there's opportunity there, you're also getting leverage on him in some lineups too, where people might be going to, Looney a ton, people going to Kuminga a bunch. And I do like mixing Saric in as pivots off of some of those guys.
Yep, I like that. Somebody just put GP2 over Saric. On FanDuel, I love getting to Gary Payton 4,200. We know the steals blocks upside. You get a little bit more bang for your buck on FanDuel, where that's a little bit more useful. But for me, DK, it is going to be a lot of Dario Saric. Not going to be 48%. You are a stronger-willed man than myself. We already knew that. But 30% for me is probably going to be the max number I come in with. But that's still tons of leverage.
We got some questions. And by the way, so I said we were going to do the nuke play at 7, and it looks like we kind of gave it away. Are we putting our stamp of approval on Saric as the nuke of the night?
Dario Saric. Yeah, that's our guy. That's
nuke
our dude.
Of the night. Nuke of the night, Dario Saric.
Former Minnesota Timberwolves great.
We've got some questions. I think former everything great. How many teams has Dario Saric been on?
More than 1. He's no Ish Smith, who I think just re-signed with the Hornets again today. I think I saw that come through. Unless that was like in a dream. I've kind of been in a dream state today. I don't know. But yeah, that's wild. Dario Saric has been a lot of places.
If the revenge narrative was real, Ish Smith would be the best player in NBA history. Because he's been on every time he plays somebody, it's a revenge narrative. He's always playing against a former team. So
there's gonna be somebody who plays for like every NBA team one day, right? Like that would just be a funny thing to have teams pick up a guy for multiple 10 days and just rotate through it. The Village Bicycle, baby. Everybody's had a ride.
Will Ferrell in baseball.
Yes.
Will Ferrell's played on every single baseball team. I think it was like last year, 2 years ago, spring training. He played for every single team in one day. My brother, for some reason, collected an entire baseball card set of Will Ferrell on every single team. He's got all of them, like PSA 10 graded. But that is my brother's Will Ferrell baseball.
I have so many Kobe rookies that need to get graded. It is just absurd. They're all just sitting wasting away in Margaritaville. I definitely need to Definitely need to get those to Vegas. Where did he have him graded at?
I mean, I don't know the
You
names
send
of
him in the
places,
mail? Because I don't trust mail for that kind of a thing.
you send him in the mail to the PSA, or the other thing my brother does, he goes to card conferences and you could submit them in
okay.
person.
That's cool. I might have to do that.
Let's hit on some Discord here. No big lineups in the lineup generator after we get through Discord and answer the outstanding super chats. Strixstein71, full fade of Chris Paul. Talk me out of it. I cannot talk you out of it. I am a little bit underweight to Chris Paul because he's projected for so much ownership.
Yeah.
Like, we have Chris Paul projected on DraftKings for 85% ownership.
That would be insane.
And I have a lot of Chris Paul. I don't have 85% of them. So I'm underweight to the field on Chris Paul. I can't talk you. I can't advocate for a full fade of Chris Paul, though.
Yeah, if you're playing one lineup and you just say, I'm not going to play an 84% piece of this slate and hope it goes my way, never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. But if you're building out multiple lineups, there is no question that in just about any term of value that you're going to attach to this slate, other than Jokic, who I actually find to be a value piece and actually grades out as a decent value piece, just point per dollar in our projections, Chris Paul is your best piece of value, period.
Yeah, I can't advocate for full fade. I'm underweight to the field on him. And by the way, like, underweight to the field means 70% of Chris Paul. You're like well underweight to him relative to what the field is projected to do. But if you're playing cash games, certainly play Chris Paul. And even in tournaments, if you're playing one lineup, I guess you could make a case for it in one lineup, but I would not recommend doing it over the course of,
and I will say also for the DK tiers thing, just because I did say Wiggins over Paul there, it's just under the assumption we don't have ownership projections for those tiers contests, but I'm under the assumption that because Chris Paul is going to be so heavily popular, I mean, Wiggins is going to be popular too, but just straight up for the projection, I'll still take Chris Paul, but I assume on that DK tiers, you're getting a nice ownership discount clicking on Wiggins.
Apinakella says, hey, at Ehrenberg Greg, thanks for the MLB single entry advice this season. How does NBA single entry work overall, and what is today's strategy? So basketball is way different in single entry than baseball, because what I'm doing for baseball is like really trying to manipulate ownership, which in some sense comes into play for NBA. Like, I have Dario Saric in my single entry lineup on DK. I think that's a pretty good leverage spot. But in general, I'm more apt to play just my highest projected lineup, the lineup that ends up being projected number one for me in our Sims tool. Baseball is different. Like, I'm hand selecting lineups. I'm really considering what I think the ownership is going to be in those fields. Single entry basketball, I'm generally just ripping whichever lineup it is that projects out the best for me. Is there anything different you do with single entry for NBA, Eric, as opposed to large field tournaments?
I mean, yeah, for me, I like to go, you can go into the stochastic sims. You can jump in pretty much to any of our tools. You could go into Cruncher, lots of places where you can project out and crunch out the number one best projected lineup. I would be looking at it in terms of expected ROI. I would be grouping it that way over in the Sims tool. For NFL, you know, you're obviously talking about stacks and things that are different there. For NBA, I mean, we are just playing the best plays in a single entry spot. And if you want to hand build, something I'll do quite a bit is if there's like one point of leverage where I can kind of swap somebody out, you know, we just talked about Saric, where that's a ton of leverage off of what?
I'm playing him in single entry.
Yeah, so I am too. So I'm saying that for me, it's not a projection thing, though, because he's not projected in my top lineup, but I know that ownership is going to be drastically lower, and it allows for me to play Jokic, allows for me to play Durant, allows for me to play Nurkic, who I still love for single entry and for that lineup, Jamal Murray. I have another piece in Austin Reeves, who's just getting absolutely no ownership, and I'm kind of contemplating pulling the trigger on that one here, too, because, I mean, this is only his third year in the NBA. I feel like he's been in the NBA for 5-6 years, but that was such a jump in year two, like such a jump. And, you know, if we start to see the decline in some capacity for AD LeBron, I mean, Austin Reeves has proven he can be a dude. And so, I mean, that's not a terrible point of leverage on this slate here as well. There's just some things like that on a 2-game slate that I'm going to be willing to do. But as we start to get into these 12-game slates like tomorrow, it's almost robotic where you're going to get such value that exists on the board. And it's going to have so many of these strong plays, and you're just going to play a lot of those together and find one or two pieces to get different.
Got the next question here from Heflove. Oh boy, welcome back to NBA. Are we pivoting off of Jokic in our small field single entries? I am not. I'm playing Jokic in single entry today.
Me too.
If I'm pivoting off of one of the centers, it is going to be Looney before it is Jokic for me. If I'm pivoting off of one of the really popular guys at the high end, it's Booker. So I'm playing Jokic in single entry. I'm playing Sarge at single entry. I'm not playing Booker in single entry. But no, I would not recommend pivoting off of Jokic in single entry.
Thought about putting like a 10-20 Kevon Looney parlay together where I just took like 10 points, 20 boards, and then I just like didn't play him today in DFS. I thought about it. I didn't do it, but that kind of be fun.
What do we have next here? Oh, here is the Black Mamba. Black Mamba wants to know who we like for. So this one I'll answer now. I know we had the other question from Jay who wanted to know about the late game showdown, but this one is favorite cheapies for the Lakers Denver showdown, which is the earlier game. So if I go and look at the earlier showdown, which I am not personally playing, but I did build some lineups out for just in case people asked us about them. Cheapies, Torian Prince is one. He's going to be starting for the Lakers today. So he's somebody who makes some sense for cheap. And then another cheapie I like is Julian Strother. And that's solely because of price point. He's $1,600, close to the min price. So those are the two guys that end up getting to the most. Do you have any opinions on this, Eric? If not, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the Denver bench, I mean, we are really, I talked about it last night on Lindy's Leans Likes Locks over on the Odd Shopper channel, talking through the betting slate. Denver's second unit is dog shit again. I mean, it is catastrophic. In fact, like, this is not a team that I would want to be backing in the markets. Obviously, Jokic is incredible and he's going to continue to be incredible. But like 2 years ago, the narrative was just how bad Denver's bench is. As soon as you take Jokic off the floor, they couldn't do anything. Last year, Bruce Brown was the dude. He was able to hold it in check there, come in and play amazing defense also in the absence of Michael Porter Jr.'s sanity throughout the entire NBA playoffs, it would seem like. It was just like ripping Michael Porter Jr. off the floor. Now, maybe he can fix a couple of those issues, but they've been there his entire NBA career for Michael Porter Jr. Now, no Bruce Brown. There are a lot of Denver pieces that I think make sense to rotate through in tournaments today. And yeah, Julian Strother, I'm glad that you brought him up, because I think that, 3,100 on DK, even like just taking some shots on a few of these dudes. Justin Holiday, none of them are good, but if somebody gets hot, they're going to just kind of stay out on the floor a little bit more, get some extended run, especially if Michael Porter Jr. isn't knocking down shots, because Malone, he's just done it pretty much his entire career. If Michael Porter Jr. isn't knocking down shots, there's no reason to have him out there.
We have Pat Clay Tomster is asking me, how was jury duty today? It sucked. It was the most disorganized thing I've ever been a part about. And the defendant was not Eric Lindquist, which was massively disappointing to me. As soon as I got emailed about the jury duty, you get the message in the mail. I think, great, Eric's going to be the defendant. I could finally put this guy in prison. We could get him behind bars where he belongs. And then he wasn't the defendant, which made the entire thing even more of a waste of time for me. So at the very least, it was disappointing, Pat Clay.
I hate you.
The next message is from the Real AD, who says, was the jury duty for one of the... Oh, this is funny. The next question is from the Real AD, who says, was the jury duty for one of the many times that the perfect man, a.k.a. Eric, was arrested, on hiatus? Unfortunately not. Eric has been on good behavior as of late. He has not been arrested for at least 3 days.
Ready to rage, though.
I will tell you one funny story really quick.
This is so good. Is this the jury duty story you were telling us before?
No, so this is something different. So I'm at jury duty, and it's all on Zoom when they do the selection process. And so the way they organize it is you're supposed to put a label after your name for when you're available. So it's either, because it was either Wednesday, Thursday, both, or a hardship excuse, which I actually have a legitimate one. I have Crohn's and colitis, which does actually preclude me from being on a jury, because if something was to ever happen where I get sick, like I wouldn't be able to finish out the case. So I have hardship excuse next to mine. One guy had the H for the hardship excuse and then wrote what his entire excuse was afterwards in parentheses on Zoom, which was, I'm a schizophrenic. So there's this guy, I won't say what his last name is, but it's Michael, his last name, H for hardship, and then I'm a schizophrenic was his reasoning for being there. And it was just all the most insane people and myself who were sitting on jury duty. So that was one thing that I enjoyed from jury duty today. Thoughts, Eric?
Thank you for calling me Michael.
Good. I enjoy that. There we go. And Eric, once again, was not the defendant. He's been on very good behavior as of late. We'll see what happens as the season goes on. Some more questions coming in here. This is a super chat from Teddy Wayman. And after we get through these super chats, Jordan, cue up the lineup generator. We'll build some lineups in there and see what it is that's standing out. Teddy Wayman has left us a super chat. He wants to know on FanDuel, is Reggie Jackson a good cheap play? Is he somebody you're playing at all tonight, Eric?
I said you can play any of these trash Denver guys. It just makes sense. I mean, one thing you're not going to get is 40 minutes a night from Jamal Murray right out of the gate. That's just not going to happen. That would be the worst decision that there has ever been. The guy comes off of playing just single digits for every single game of the playoffs, if he did appear in any of them throughout those playoffs. But he had 1 minute in the entire Miami series. He had 3 minutes in the entire Lakers series, but he has a pulse. He's 4,100. He has point guard, shooting guard eligibility, and I don't have anybody projected for more than 38 minutes on the entire slate today. So for me, it is going to be Reggie Jackson as one of the guys that you can rotate in amongst 8 other Denver dudes.
He is projected for 5% ownership, and I have 10% of him. So I think he makes for a pretty decent contrarian play. Like, I'm not making a big stance with him like I did with Dario Saric, but I do have some exposure to Reggie Jackson there.
Yeah, that is the correct way of phrasing that.
Next question is Orion. He wants to know, if we're only playing one player from the first game, who would it be? Jokic
by far, like by leaps and bounds.
I will say it is a little bit dependent on site, right? If this is a DraftKings question, the answer for me is going to be Jokic. If it's a FanDuel question, then the answer for me is going to be Aaron Gordon, who I find to be very difficult to get away from on FanDuel because the power forward options are miserable.
That's fair.
Is it any different for you on FanDuel compared to DK, or still Jokic?
Still Jokic.
Okay, still Jokic for Eric.
It's just so many raw points that you could be leaving on the table, and he's the guy that terrifies me that if I were fading anybody in that first game.
Corey Williams has left us a super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. And if you guys haven't done yet, do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is the easiest way to support us and help keep all of our content free. And Corey wants to know, who is the best 6,100 or less play on DK who is not Chris Paul? Let's see.
Andrew Wiggins.
6,100 or less. I'll have to go and look. I mean, this is where it's kind of hard, right? Because are we just talking about, I'll do it by projection and like a combination of that and my exposures. And I'll say Aaron Gordon.
Mm-hmm. I will say, okay, I'm going Wiggins. Yeah.
They're very similar. I like both. They're $5,700 and $5,500 over on DK. If you need the salary savings, Wiggins, good choice. But Gordon and Wiggins right behind Chris Paul for me. They're both going to be fairly popular as well. Wiggins more so than Gordon, which is I'll call it the tiebreaker between the two of them. Aaron Gordon project for 45% ownership. Wiggins project for 65%. So I'll go with Gordon with that being considered. Silent Assassin 02. What's up, guys? Welcome back to NBA DFS. Love the golf content too. And then he said Kelly Craft, which with a laughing emoji. I don't know.
Dude, Kelly Craft, just the cash cow, the absolute cash cow for us the last couple of weeks. It was good times. Good times. I haven't even looked at the golf slate yet this weekend. Is there a golf slate this weekend? Where are they? It's Tuesday. I have been, again, there are 24 teams playing NBA basketball tomorrow. I am just underwater going through preseason box scores and trying to figure out rotations. It has been a really fun Tuesday. Actually, better than most, because if you're going to have like some kind of monotonous work, it might as well be something that you love and enjoy rather than, I could be digging a ditch or, taking out trash, which are commendable things to do. But I will say, looking at NBA rotations and listening to music, a little bit better way to live your life.
It looks like there is no golf tournament this weekend, by the way.
I didn't think
follow-up to Silent Assassin's question is, what are the top plays on FanDuel? And thanks for the advice. So I'll go through all of my most rostered players at each position. And then you can do the same for FanDuel as well. And that's how we could answer the question here for Silent Assassin. For me, at point guard, it is Steph Curry.
Point guard is Steph Curry.
Shooting guard for me is also Steph Curry. So I'll go with Devin Booker. Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, I'm getting to on FanDuel. I'm going to be underweight on DK.
Small forward for me, that is Jonathan Kuminga on FanDuel.
Jonathan Kuminga, he's tough to get away from there.
And same with Aaron Gordon at power forward. He's very difficult.
Just what are we doing? 5,700. You're clicking on him.
Center, your answer is going to be Jokic. I'm going to go with Looney on FanDuel.
Cool. That's just fine. 5,400 on FanDuel's nifty.
Next super chat is from Goody, who wants to know, how do we feel about Grayson Allen and Eubanks as pivots for a 20 max GPP? Are you playing Allen or Eubanks as low owned plays?
So it's weird. Like, the Phoenix rotation has a lot of ways that it can pan out as well. It could be a little bit of a hot hand approach. And yeah, Desir Little that was banged up for a couple of those I was going through. He ended up having something with his core that existed from last season into this year. But he looks like he'll be getting a couple of minutes. Again, the rotation, there's going to be players that we project for minutes who just don't see the floor, and guys who we didn't expect to see the floor in a million years that end up playing 12, 14 minutes out of nowhere. Grayson Allen, I don't know what his role ends up being here for this Phoenix team. Eric Gordon feels like he'll have a leg up just as a veteran, as a knockdown shooter, to be able to be somebody who's out on the floor a lot more than him. Koji, we expect to be out there quite a bit here as well, but Grayson Allen, he's just a dude on this slate. I've never really clicked on it there in Milwaukee. I've never really been a stand for him at any point. Not that anybody is, because he just kicks dudes in the nuts, but I'm not really playing either of them that much.
Neither am I. Those are not contrarian guys that I like getting to. So going to be a no for me. I do not like them.
And it's not like Grayson Allen's like cheap relative to other options. He's 4,900.
All right, so we got a guy here who I'm pretty sure you've read this name before. I'm not going to read his name, but Mr. Yachin. Mr. Yachin here, who says he's trying to get you because he asked the question specifically to you. He knows I'm too sharp to read it, but he knows you're just dumb enough to do it, which is why he directed the question at you. But Mr. Yachin says, hey, Eric, would you get behind Allen or... So I'm just going to read the entire thing because this is funny enough where I'm going to read it off. So his name is Nut on Your Chin, and his question is, hey, Eric, would you get behind Allen or Koji to finish first? Higher DFS points. That is a Koji for me.
Fun show. Fun. Glad to have NBA back.
Are you going to answer the question?
Koji.
Right,
thank you for the 5 loonies, you Looney Tune.
Yeah. He's a handsome fella. Handsome fella, that Josh Okogie. D-Buff, would you avoid playing Looney and Sarge in the same lineup? If this was a bigger slate, sure. On a 2-game slate where they're also so cheap, I don't really have an issue with it.
I don't either. I'm still just, how about nutting on your mom's chin? No. It's fine.
Listen, Eric, you don't have to play the games. I'm a man of the people. I'll read the super chats. I will do it happily. And I say keep them coming. And I mean that, every word of it.
Especially the coming.
Yeah, exactly. You got to choose your words carefully. Steven Reynolds left us a super chat. Just says, thank you. It is a sticker with a dancing cat. Thank you, Steven. We appreciate
cool.
you. And then Corey Williams, Prince or Okogie for the last spot. Jordan, can we pull up the player compare tool really quick?
It's a great idea. I was just going to look at you. Player compare tool. This is probably one of the more underutilized tools that we have here at Stochastic. We're just going to be dead honest from last season. Probably something we didn't talk about a whole heck of a lot on shows, but there's no doubt the player compare tool, when you take a look at just this guy versus this guy, you're going to see in terms of projection, it just makes up for any kind of an issue you might have with the ownership for me. So I'm definitely going to be on the Okogie side of it.
Yeah, and while Jordan pulls that up, Ghetto Farmer Boy asked, are we getting to any Eubanks? That was a question from the Discord channel. No, not getting to any of Eubanks for myself right now. Jordan, if you have the player compare tool pulled up, could you share with Eric and I so we can see what it is that we're looking at? All right, let's see. So the 2 players we are comparing are Taurean Prince and Josh Okogie. So we'll see what it is that we're getting to here. Taurean Prince on one side, expected to be starting for the Lakers, and then Okogie on the other side. And what we have here is Josh Okogie winning in a landslide. We got him winning 81.8% of the time to Taurean Prince's 18.2%. That's the way to go. Josh Okogie, he is going to be our man today. And also a man who Eric is going to be getting behind tonight. Josh Okogie, any disagreement, Eric?
Right off the bat. First show.
All right.
Just got first show. Great.
All right, so let's build some lineups in the lineup generator before we get to lock here, Jordan. And if you guys haven't checked out the lineup generator yet, which good chance you haven't, it is day one of the NBA season. Now's the time to sign up for any of the tools at Stokastic.com. Promo code TIPOFF. There's a link for that below in the description box. 20% off any package that you sign up for. If you're signing up for our Sims package, which includes everything now. Everything is under one bundle. Contest generator, so you could build your lineups on our site. Sims tool, so you could sim your lineups on our site. The late swap tool, so you could late swap all your lineups on our site also with the power of Sims. 20% off, promo code TIPOFF. You want to sign up for the lineup generator, which is a very cheap package. Doesn't mean it's not good. It's just the lowest dollar option. If you're new to DFS, getting your foot in the door, this is the way to do it. Sign up for the lineup generator. Also, that is 20% off and use the promo code TIPOFF. And it's less than $15 as is. So very cheap package to get here. And let's build contrarian line for this being a smaller slate, Jordan. I think you might have clicked the wrong thing, but it's okay. I forgive you. Okay. All right. I might have just seen it wrong out of the corner of my eye. We're going to build some lineups here, and then we'll see what it is that we end up getting to as far as exposures are concerned. So this is building contrarian lineups on DK, and you'll still see getting to a ton of Nikola Jokic, nearly a lock play for us across these lineups. He was in 97% of them. And then also getting to a lot of Chris Paul, but that is actually less ownership of Chris Paul than what he's projected for. He's projected for mid 80%. So we are underweight to Chris Paul, underweight to Wiggins here. Some of the value plays we're getting to a Koji. Sarge, look at that, 47% of Sarge. It's almost the exact same amount that I have in my lineups. So even the lineup generator is pointing out Dario Saric as a good contrarian play. Let's go check out some FanDuel lineups as well, Jordan, before we check out any of the final questions we have leading into lock. We have a super chat from Teddy Wayman. He wants to know, Eric, what are you drinking? He says that he's sipping whiskey. My guess is that is actually urine that Eric is drinking. But Eric, you can be a little bit more clear. What is it?
Bunny with a chainsaw.
Okay. All right.
It's delicious.
Swing and a miss. I guess wrong.
Samsonite. Let's see. There we go. Got my stuff in. So cool. Lovely.
On FanDuel. If you look at the players we're getting the most exposure to on FanDuel, we've got Nikola Jokic, number one, followed by Kuminga, Josh Okogie, Aaron Gordon, then D'Angelo Russell up there. Steph Curry is a pay-up option. We weren't getting to him as much on DraftKings. We are on FanDuel, though. And this is how easy the tool is to use, guys. Right from here, you can export lineups directly to DraftKings and/or FanDuel, play them right in your contest. Least expensive tool over at Stokastic.com. I really recommend it for any newer DFS players that are trying to get your feet wet in the waters of NBA DFS. And if you just want the lineups built for you, this is the tool to go ahead and use. By the way, some people agree with me. They do think it was urine that's in that can, and I tend to agree.
Because it's sterile and I like the taste.
Yeah, that's urine. And if it isn't, why do you ask me to FedEx you a bucket of urine every week if that's not what you're drinking?
That's for the skin, Greg. This is
all right.
This is self-preservation for myself.
I understand. Keeps you young. You bathe in it every night. Some more questions in the Discord channel, which, by the way, if you guys are a Stokastic sub, you get access to our Discord channel. Another reason to sign up with that promo code TIPOFF. We've got some questions here from Cream. Cream wants to know, how many minutes do we think Rui is going to play tonight?
I will pull up what I have. 23.
So there's a couple of things here. Number one is I think that the range of outcomes is fairly wide. I have Rui
very much so.
22. Wide range of outcomes because we saw this in the series against Denver, which was the last time we saw the Lakers play against Denver in the playoffs. There was games where Rui was not a big part of the rotation, and there was games where he played well, where he played a bunch, right? We've seen with this Lakers team, they tend to play a hot hand approach. So I think Rui is somebody who has a little bit of upside for cheap, but also has a lot of downside. A lot of things that could end up happening with him in this game. How much exposure are you getting to Hachimura?
I have 0 shares of Rui Hachimura.
So one issue with Rui is that he is expensive. He is $5,100 over on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, he is $4,800. So overall, I have 6% exposure to Rui. So he's not like an outright fade for me, but it's very, very low amount of exposure that I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's not for me.
JEW. He wants to know, if you fade Chris Paul in a DK single entry, would Curry be a good idea for game script? So if you're trying to think of a game theory reason to fade Chris Paul, Eric, is there somebody who you think benefits?
Probably Gary Payton II. I mean, that might be if there's an injury or something of that nature. Again, you don't need to bring somebody ball dominant on the floor whatsoever. And Gary Payton's been there forever. I would think that it's going to be him. I doubt Moses Moody is somebody that we really need to have in our lives at 3,600. I'm not going to be clicking on that button. So somebody bringing up Jordan Goodwin, absolutely not for me there at 3,300. I'm definitely on the side of Gary Payton II, I think.
All right. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like if it's a situation where Chris Paul's limited, maybe gets into foul trouble, I do think that would be the guy to get to there. Also, one other thing I want to point out to you guys before we get into lock is I mentioned we've got the great Bet365 offer. In addition to that, there are some pick'em sites that are doing crazy discounts for today. So I'll just group these together. There's links below to sign up for these sites if you guys haven't already. Prize Picks, if you sign up over there, they have an over-under of 0.5 points for Steph Curry. Underdog, they have LeBron over-under 0.5 points. If even some pick'em is available in your state, it isn't for me. Go ahead and take advantage of these. They're very, very, these are just free squares. It's free money being given away. So sign up using those links below. Each site has a $100 bonus on the first deposit. Jordan made a very weird face at me when I did.
Yeah, because you faded into the abyss for a second. You went,
oh, did I?
One of those. Yeah, one of those.
Huh.
Freeze frame.
Oh, well, we're back now. Links below in the description box if you guys want to sign up for either of those sites. I know a lot of you are probably on Prize Picks. You play in any of those pick'em states, but if you don't, I'll just read it again in case I cut out for it. Over under 0.5 points for Steph Curry on Prize Picks tonight. Over under 0.5 points for LeBron James on Underdog. Next question is from Solvers are lame. He wants to know what exposure you guys getting on Keta Bates Job. I do not have exposure to Bates Job tonight.
I have zero.
Next question is from Trouble35. He says, appreciate the slate breakdown and good luck tonight, folks. Pumped to have NBA back. Me too. The one thing that's a little bit of a bummer about NBA is I don't love 2-game slates. And then I always end up max entering everything for the first slate of the year because it's the first slate. We haven't played it in forever.
Yeah, I mean, FanDuel was easy with the $5 to do it. Even with the 10, though, I guess the $10 people were saying wasn't going to get close to filling on DK. Yeah, there's 15,000 entries. You got a minute and 30 seconds to jam a couple in there. I just did a couple extra. So
there is a very, very, very funny comment that I wanted to find.
I don't know if we should keep going on this.
What?
I think you've made fun of me enough already, this program.
No. Because Doug Gilly in the YouTube chat, he says the reason you're drinking the urine is because that's how we drug test at Stochastic. Eric has a very sophisticated palate, and it's true. Eric could drink anybody's urine. We also, all of us at the company, we have to send our urine in the mail to Eric. And what he does is he chugs it. And then afterwards, he's able to monitor just with his tongue how much THC is in your system. And he knows any sort of anabolic steroid use. You know, like how the UFC got rid of USADA? They've replaced him with Eric Lindquist. That's what they're doing now. That's how the drug testing works. Every single fighter in the UFC now has to submit their drug test to Eric. They send him urine in the mail. They test it. And he's just like, this guy's on TRT. He goes, Eric's already caught 6 people like this. It's impressive. Not many people have that skill, Eric.
You done fucking talking?
We're almost at lock. I'll be done talking for sure in 30 minutes.
Cool.
I mean, you're very upset about the talent you have. Do you know how few people in the world can do this? It's you, that guy who puts gerbils in his butt, and that's it. That's it. You're in rare company here. By the way, guys, I know we're at lock right now, but don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. 30 minutes of Eric and I hanging out. We are going to be talking about the games as they go on. We'll be reacting to any news. We're going to be talking about Showdown. We got a super chat from Jay, and we're going to run lineups through the Sims tool for Showdown tonight. So stick around for that. And we're going to do bets for tomorrow as well, because there's a bunch of them that are already populating. Look, he's testing it out right now, Eric. I want the results right now. All right, what is Conor McGregor on? Anabar? What is he taking?
Don't know. Don't care.
Right. Sometimes it takes him a few minutes to get the results back. So all the things we have coming up, that's for tonight. We'll run some lineups through the Sims tool for Showdown today, which is where I kind of want to start here, because we got that super chat from Jay, which was a while ago. I told him that we were going to answer this in the post-lock show. And I want to keep you guys around so you could see what it is that we could do with the Sims tool for Showdown contest. We had Jay wanted to know who we like for the Suns Warriors Showdown. Jordan, can you pull up the Sims tool and we'll walk through? Because I know Jordan himself might not be super familiar with our Sims tool yet. It's a new product, and Jordan is Jordan, right? He has to be.
You have to forgive my friend. He's a little slow.
Yeah, exactly. Eric knows what's up. As soon as Eric gets the chance to make fun of somebody else, he gets excited.
Yeah. No better way to get back in the world to make fun of somebody else and take out my passive aggressive self.
The man who built your entire studio for you. Take him down.
It's true. So, he didn't do shit. No.
He did everything.
He didn't do a thing.
He ordered the stuff. He told you what to get.
Kind of.
So if you guys
He's been a fake friend lately.
The Sims tool here, first click on the site you're using, which will be DraftKings for this. We have FanDuel Owners Box and DraftKings in here. And then click the slate. So for this, we're going to be doing the Showdown slate. Warriors. Yeah, that one right there. Warriors Suns. All right. And let's build 5,000 lineups for this. Click Generate Lineups. And what's going to happen now, guys, is we're going to have 5,000 lineups built out for tonight's game. And one thing that's cool about this, which has been really helpful for me for NFL Showdown, is it's going to take dupes into account. You're going to see some lineups get built multiple times of the same one. The reason for that is because then when you simulate out the lineups, the ROI is going to be impacted by how many dupes there are. It's something we always run into with Showdown. So this is something that I've always wanted to be able to incorporate into my process, but it's really hard to do. Like, how do you figure out what to do? And yeah, now click the simulate lineup. So we've got all these lineups built out here. We built out 5,000 of them. And now we're going to sim them. Before you click the percentage to first, Jordan, I'm going to look up what the actual prize pool pays out tonight for the Showdown contest. It is 33%. So go 30%. So top heavy payout tonight. It's $300,000 prize pool, $100,000 to first. And now run the contest simulation. So this is going to automatically, the CSV of the lineups are built on the other screen. They're uploaded right into the Sims tool. You click Simulate Slate. And now from here, we're going to be able to identify which players are the best overall plays for tonight's game. And by the way, also, guys, this is all included in our NBA package now. So if you're signing up for our NBA package with that promo code TIPOFF in the links below, you get access to the Sims tool, DraftKings FanDuel, and all the slates, right? Main slates, the late night slates, Showdown, it is all going to be included in here. So the number one overall lineup by Sim ROI, it's a little hard to make out on my screen, but I think it's Nurkic in the captain spot, Booker, Kuminga, Okogie, Durant, and Steph Curry. So that's our number one overall projected lineup by ROI. And then do a quick favorite of the top 150, Jordan. Favorite 150, and then click on exposures. So we could see what some of our exposures look like. Don't get excited when you hear expose, Eric. All right, we've got Steph Curry as our most rostered player here, followed by Durant, Booker, Kuminga, Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Nurkic. Keep scrolling down. I want to see if there's any so cheapies we're getting to. Okogie the most, and there's Saric in 23.3% of lineups. So that's kind of the different options that we're getting to there. As far as the captains are concerned, I think it was Durant we're getting to the most at captain. If you scroll up a little bit, Jordan. Yeah, Durant was in 26% of our lineups as a captain. We're getting to Curry 19%, followed by Booker at 17%. So that's how I would rank the pay up options as far as captains on this slate. So anything else that stands out to you, Eric?
Yeah, I'm running a couple of them myself here on this end. It definitely makes sense when you're playing NBA Showdown, a little bit different than NFL in some capacity, where you run into these top projected guys and you just, it's so hard to get away from them in that captain spot. You kind of rotate through a lot of the cheapies. And just like in the NFL, you run into some of these really cheap guys who allow you to get absolutely every single stud in, but people are going to run into the same type of lineup. So I do prefer to try to get different in the flex spot. And it would seem like our tool is kind of doing exactly that for us.
Yeah. So, and the other thing too, like I said, that has really been big for me on Showdown is just finding a way to incorporate some of the lineups that are projected to be duped and trying to figure out how to sort my lineups based on how often they're going to be duped. And also, I might end up liking 2-game slates more for NBA this year, which I haven't liked as much in the past, because we also now have a solve in the Sims tool to incorporate
Mhm.
some of those dupe lineups into the process.
Yeah, it's really great. And you can just click out the favorite ones. So like when there's 2-3 dupes within your 5,000 pool size, you can simply unclick the heart once you favorite like your top 20, if you're doing, 20 max, your top 150, and then you're able to just kind of rotate down, go down further and get some of the guys that have 0 dupes next to it. I've been doing that quite a bit in the NFL.
Couple of super chats coming in here. This one is from Ghetto Farmer Boy. He said he's using his free chat to throw some love to Eric. Good luck.
Oh, my guy, you're loved. You're loved. We're having fun. I'm having a blast. It's just sometimes Greg gets a little mean. It's fine. It's okay.
Listen, what's wrong with a couple of bros talking about basketball and drinking some urine? Nothing. There's nothing.
Chugging some urine now.
Nothing at all. Smokey Bear left us a super chat, said, I miss being with you guys after lock. Let's fucking go. I agree, Smokey. I am also looking forward to hanging out post lock. And you know what we have to do?
Did the
now,
game
Eric?
start already? Let's go.
Oh, did it?
Early.
I was just about to say.
By the way, I bet the Lakers, if anybody cares, plus 185, 20 cents of closing line value, NBD. No big deal.
First bucket of the year.
Anthony Davis.
AD with the first basket of
AD
the season.
dunked it.
Lakers.
And then
Lakers
Jokic comes back.
Number 1 overall team in the NBA. They're up 2-0. No other team has scored a basket. Lakers champions. I think that's how this works.
I think that's what their fans think too. So Taurean Prince for 3.
Ooh, look at that. Slow start for Denver. When do we start panicking about Jokic? He's no.
Dude, what slow start? There hasn't been a missed shot in the game. 4 for 4. Murray just got a bucket.
Are we panicking?
No.
Okay. Not going to panic quite yet. Not according to Eric. Let's go in. Have you placed bets or looked at bets for tomorrow?
For tomorrow? Yeah. Oh God, Taurean Prince, another 3. End the slate. It's over.
Is it over?
I only have 20 out of 150. Yeah, we'll see. I
have 18% of Taurean Prince. What do you end up being?
That's about the same amount I have. I have a little bit less than that.
All right, let's see. Taurean Prince in the $10 is.
God, he did this shit in Minnesota all the time. He did this all the time, out of the middle of nowhere. I think he put up like a bajillion points in that last game he had of the season 2 in Denver. We lost like game 5, I think it was, and Taurean Prince went nuts. 13. Okay, that's a lot for Taurean Prince. He had 13.
Yeah, and he is 33% owned in the big contest there. Over
what?
DK. Yes, we ended up being quite popular, Taurean Prince.
Well, that's bad.
Quite popular. So we had him projected even higher than that. So one of the reasons I came in underweight to Taurean Prince is I thought he was going to be super. He is very, very popular. And, but yeah, 33% ownership on Taurean Prince. We've got Jokic just tip drill, the best. That's the best feeling in NBA DFS is watching a guy that you have nearly 100% of just tip drill himself. Like just tip it up to the hoop, miss, tip it up again. Board, bucket. That's better than a 3. What are you rooting for in the first game? Or I should say for the overall slate at this point, who is it that you're rooting the hardest for and who are you rooting the hardest against?
I'm rooting the hardest for Nikola Jokic by a mile. Okay. Austin Reeves, probably second. What did Austin Reeves end up being?
Austin Reeves is
just from like a leverage perspective. Cause like, I don't have any like large stands on anybody else, I don't think in this game, but I was going to be way north of Austin Reeves, it would appear.
So Austin Reeves is, let's see, what is the ownership on Reeves?
I'm also cheering for this Strother fellow, so that's cool. He's 2% owned.
Reeves is 23.76% owned on.
That's way more popular than we had projected. That's a lot. Yeah, that people ended up getting there.
Yeah, I am going to be rooting against Austin Reeves. I would like Aaron Gordon to do more things tonight.
Yeah, we had him at 12.7%. I was going to say that that could have gone either way for me. I ended up playing a little bit more than I probably should have there, but such is life. Such is life. We carry on.
We have a super chat from Corey Bomber. Corey is asking us CP3, Wiggins and Looney, or Booker, Sarge, and Kuminga on DK. So read these names again. On one side, we have CP3, Wiggins, and Looney. On the other side, it is Booker, Sarge, and Kuminga.
I mean, the first one is just exponentially more chalky than the second one. Like by
The second one's
leaps
also
and
very
bounds.
chalky, though.
I mean, you have at least the Saric piece there. CP3, Wiggins, Looney, Book, Saric, Kuminga. I mean, CP3, Wiggins are just the most popular two plays on the entire slate. So, I mean, if you're building out one lineup, I would actually probably go to the first one over Book, Saric, Kuminga. But, I mean, yeah, I would go to the first one, actually.
I'm going to say the first one as well. As much as I like Sarge as a contrarian play today, I do find it difficult to get away from, Paul, Wiggins, and Looney. I'm gonna go with the first combination. You still have a lot of ownership going to Booker and Kuminga in the second combo. So let's go option one for Corey. Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney.
I'm also cheering for Jamal Murray, who was in my I played him in the $100 and the $40 single entry. So go Jamal Murray.
He was off to a pretty good start, is he not?
Yeah, he's got 5.5. He had the second bucket of the game. Yeah, he's 2 for 2 from the field. That's always good.
You know who's actually scoring fantasy points in this game? Everybody. We've got
D'Angelo Russell isn't because he sucks.
Well, that's not him or Austin Reeves, but everybody else, and not Anthony
I can't
Davis.
think of a player in the NBA that I liked, that I didn't like, that I didn't like, that I liked, that I liked, that I didn't like. Not Austin Reeves. D'Angelo Russell. I mean, with Brooklyn, how could you not like him? But with LA, after the Nick Young stuff, it was so easy to dislike him. And then he goes to Brooklyn, redeems himself. Then he goes to my Timberwolves, does absolutely cock nothing. And then he shows up in LA and it's like, hey, I'm back. Let's kick it. And he's just annoying to watch because the ball just stops in his hands. It stops moving. And that's like understandable when it's LeBron James. Not very understandable to me when it's D'Angelo Russell.
I think it's James Harden for me. He's made himself very unlikable as of late. And there was a point where he was very likable. So like he's somebody who I've gone back and forth with over the time. And now like I'm just annoyed with him.
I'm very over James Harden conversation. I feel like anytime I've got ESPN on and they start talking about it, I have to like take Duke on an extra 15-minute portion of the walk because I just can't do it anymore. It's also
at this point, and he might be getting traded to your guys' Clippers. It's a team that he wants to go to. But here's the problem at this point is if you're a team, he's also looking for a contract extension. How could you invest every place he's gone to as of late? It's ended the exact same in disaster. Like how could you reasonably want to invest any kind of long-term contract on him where he's blown up every situation he's gone to lately?
You don't. The only place that I would trust James Harden to go to that I would be like, oh, this is a good situation would be Houston because he obviously loves the local fare, just wants to go kick it in Houston all the time. I think that's where he's been for the last week when he left Philly training camp.
Well, he lives there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not going to leave. He's got his jersey in the rafters there, not in the stadium, but
Yeah, one of the all-time legendary stories. James Harden one time went to a strip club, spent $1 million cash there at a strip club in one night. And at the end of the night, they hung his jersey up in the rafters and retired him at the strip club.
So incredible.
It's one of the greatest NBA stories of all time in terms of like going out and partying. James Harden getting retired. I wonder what the name of that strip club is.
I don't know. I think it's also pretty cool that Lou Williams has wings named after him at Magic Castle.
I'm going to look this up. So James Harden strip
the Lou
club
Peppa wings. Magic City. Thank you. Magic City. Not that I've ever been there or anything.
Oh, by the way, I massively undersold this. He spent $1.53 million in cash in one night at a strip club.
You undershot him by $500,000.
Yeah, but more than $500,000.
What do you think his like? Because he obviously has like a finance guy. Like, what do you think? What do you think those conversations are like when he checks in and lets him know how his portfolio is doing? He's like, hey,
do you think he called them and said, hey guys, I thought of a good investment.
Say, hey, my ATM card isn't working. I need cash brought now. Like
the other thing too is how much could it have cost to just buy the strip club?
That's a really good point. That's probably the best point you've made so far.
It's in the top 10 or so.
Just buy the strip club and then show up every day. That would be a better financial decision. I bet his financial advisor would be down with that.
I mean, I don't know. I've never purchased a strip club for myself, so I don't know. I'm looking up. I couldn't find any information on what the name of the strip club is, but James Harden invested $1.5 million in titties one night, and he has nothing to show for it today. He could have owned part of the strip club. Poor investment by James Harden.
John
really
Prince, do you guys have a history in comedy? Greg is greater than Eric. Fuck you. How about that?
What was that comment?
Just some idiot.
All right.
Continue on.
I was trying to find if there was a way I could pin that to the YouTube channel. Let's see if we have any questions in Discord. We do. We have a question here from Ant8604 $. He says, do you think you all will do a live after lock every so often? Yeah, just about every single night. So here are the days that we currently are going to be doing the live after lock shows. So we're not doing it on Mondays or Thursdays because there's NFL shows after us. There's the primetime NFL games, so we're not going to be doing on those days. With that said, post NFL, we're going to be able to do those shows. The days that Eric and I are going to be doing a post-lock show together are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then Friday, I'm going to be doing the NBA show with Matt Bellman, and him and I will be doing a post-lock show. And those are the days to open up the year. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then post-football, when is the NFL regular season? In January?
Yep, January.
Yeah. So
first week of January.
Yeah, so once the NFL primetime games end, then we'll also be doing the after lock show for those days as well. We'll be here. We'll be here hanging out. Let's talk about some bets for tomorrow, Eric. Let's do it.
Rui Hachimura, Reggie Jackson. I'm just seeing who's checking in at the 6-minute mark here first. These are the kind of things that you just kind of want to be paying close attention to. Obviously, there's a million places to get through. What?
Please tell me Prince is checking out.
No, he's still on the floor because we can't have nice things.
All right. I would like him to, if he scores 20 fantasy points, cool. I don't want him to score 30 something.
Yeah, 30 would be a disaster. 30 would be a stone cold disaster for me. We got Rui in for LeBron. Yeah, it's going to be wild. All right, continue on.
So could this actually be LeBron checking out after 5.5 minutes?
He's got 4, 2, and 2. So I mean, LeBron had a really good first rotation, but less than 6 minutes. That's not what you're looking for. Clicking on LeBron, having him come in right now, but you got to assume they were going to stagger him and Davis like they normally do. Taurean Prince just missed a 3. Oh, thank God! I thought he knocked that down too.
Yeah, I mean, Liz, if he's going to shoot, if you lose to Taurean Prince because he shoots 100% from 3, so be it. So be it. I have him pegged to shoot less than 100% from 3.
I did too, which is surprising. Austin Reeves, steal, Rui, put back. Nope, missed it. All right, Reggie Jackson's on the floor doing Reggie Jackson bullshit, so that's cool.
All right, Rosso Music is trying to get my attention. He says that the strip club is called Dream, and it is in the Midwest Houston area. So Rosso Music appears to be very well acquainted with this area. I'm surprised he didn't also send us the address and the phone number because it seems like this is a place that he may or may not be frequenting regularly. But Rosso Music has got all of the information in all capital letters saying, look at the chat, Greg. And then in all capital letters, hey, Greg, the strip club is called Dream. It is in Midwest Houston. All right, thanks for that information. Have to do
TPC Woodlands, nice little golf course.
Nikola Jokic now up to 8 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. Jokic doing Jokic things. Does he win MVP this year?
I hope so. He should have won MVP last year. I think we were both on that train, but apparently advanced analytics don't matter to the Joel Embiid, voter fatigue, whatever the hell. I got to think that if he has a season, even like he did last year, we had 17 expected win shares. That is a dude that is undeniably the best basketball player on planet Earth, and you would just give him the MVP again.
It would be 3 and 4 years for Jokic. He's already got the ring. He's got the finals MVP as well. Listen, people might not like this, but Nikola Jokic is on path to being one of the absolute greatest players ever. And he doesn't even seem to like basketball that much, which is awesome.
Nope. It's hilarious because people spend every day, all day, their entire lives trying to be good at this game of basketball. And Jokic wants to hang out with horses and just bang in the Eastern Europe and just do his thing. And good for him. He should. But legitimately doesn't care about basketball besides oh yeah, I'll just show up and do my job, make a lot of money, and then retire young. Like, do you think he's going to play till 35, 36?
No.
I don't either.
He's going to make his money. He's going to retire. He's going to ride horses. Did you see, by the way, I am very happy right now. I said I needed Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, 4 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals he is up to now.
Oh, God. So
Aaron Gordon
that's
is going
nuke. Torian Prince there, rebound.
Aaron Gordon going crazy. Love to see it. So also with Nikola Jokic, did you see when he was being interviewed in the offseason about did he like his offseason? His answer was no, because it was shorter this year. Like, he was very upset about it. They didn't get to spend more time.
I definitely saw that he was upset. He's like, I had to work longer this year. I'm like, he makes it sound like he was just like working on the 405, like paving streets for the last 2 months, 3 months of the summer, or the beginning 2-3 months of the summer. Pretty hilarious to have him not like basketball as much as he doesn't, but like, good for him. It makes him even more likable, I think.
Yeah, dude, he just rules at it. He's great at it, so he does it. We got a super chat here from Teddy Wayman, who wants to know who is our favorite rookie and why is it Keontae George? My favorite rookie is my favorite rookie is Wembanyama because he's Wemby.
And I like Scoot too. Scoot's going to be really, really fun for Portland. So him and Simons is going to be kind of a weird, icky issue. It's going to feel like Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham to a certain extent. Just a terrible team with 2 guys that should be able to put up stats. And I don't know, Scoot I think is better than a Jaden Ivey for sure. But like, yeah, Keontae George is fun. He was fun at Baylor. He's a good kid. Like, he's only 19 too. Most of these rookies are 19 nowadays, but like, he's young. He's got a lot of potential. There's also a lot of downside for him. There's a reason he went at like 16.
Can you pull up Odd Chopper, Jordan? I want to look at Wemby futures, and then we'll look at just some bets for tomorrow as well, and try to find some bets that we like. There's a bunch of them that are populating as being plus EV, and Odd Chopper's helped me make a bunch of money over the course of the summer and really the entire year. And it's really convenient to be able to look up stuff like futures and try to find what the best odds are. And if you guys are considering signing up for Odd Chopper, you want to make some money betting on basketball this year, now's the time to sign up, because we've got a promo going on, Slam Dunk 50. That gets you 50% off when you sign up for Odd Chopper, and that is good for new customers or returning. So even if you've used Odd Chopper in the past and you're trying to come back for the NBA season, use the promo code Slam Dunk 50, and you're going to be getting 50% off. And I want to look up first, Jordan, if you wouldn't mind sharing the screen with us, look up Wembanyama, and I want to see the current Rookie of the Year odds. So just type at the top of the page in the search bar, Victor. All right, you gotta change your location there. There we go. So Wembanyama, and then in the filters, see to the right of bet category. Yeah, there we go. Click Rookie of the Year. I think you might have gone past it.
It's the very first one listed at the top of the page. There you go.
All right. So this has actually moved a ton. As of a few days ago, Wemby was plus money to win Rookie of the Year.
Silly.
He should be a bigger favorite to win the award. And there's something else too about this that I think people are forgetting. By the way, shout out to Chris Williams, who gifted out some YouTube memberships. Wemby is at worst the second best prospect in my lifetime. At worst, the only player who I think is even comparable to him as a prospect. It doesn't mean how he's going to turn out, what his future is going to look like. The only player that's even comparable to him in terms of upside as a prospect is LeBron. And I had tweeted a while ago that I thought Wemby was being underrated as a Rookie of the Year. I think he should be a prohibitive favorite. The reason that people were opposed to it, Eric, is because of the fact that there are these new rules for the NBA where you have to play 65 games, but it doesn't apply to Rookie of the Year. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Rookie of the Year, you do not need to meet the 65 games played requirement. I think Wemby is going to play 65 plus games, but even if he doesn't, it's not going to impact this award. It's one of the only awards where it doesn't matter. Rookie of the Year, all rookie first team, all rookie second team. You do not have to play 65 games. He is so good as a prospect, in my opinion. I know that Chet's looked very good in preseason as well. I think Wemby's going to have a massive Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. As long as he doesn't get hurt, I think this is his award to win. Do you like Wemby for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, it's impossible not to. My question, Chet, I'm assuming you know because you do a lot more futures than I do. Chet is considered a rookie because he didn't play last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that makes it competitive because Oklahoma City has a fun fun basketball team. Obviously made that playoff surge. SGA legit. You got Jalen Williams, I think is very legit two-way basketball player. Obviously Giddey, who you can take or leave at times, but a really good guy that can get you some offense, especially whenever SGA is off the floor. He's going to have a lot of utility and can get there for you, especially distributing. Now you get Chet Holmgren into the mix. Minnesota's finest Chet Holmgren goes to Gonzaga, has that ridiculous year, had a Laz Frank injury that is identical to that of Travis Etienne, where he missed his rookie season as a result. But I didn't know that because Travis Etienne wasn't considered a rookie for whatever reason the next year in the NFL, but glad to see that Chet Holmgren is considered that. I think he would be the only guy that would have any chance. I like Scoot a lot. I don't think Scoot's going to have enough usage playing alongside Anthony Simons to really matter. I think if you got him at plus money, that's just stealing. I mean, minus 145, best number you could have available unless you have Sugar House, Bet Rivers, Unibet. That is pretty darn fun.
Yeah, so that's what I like as a futures bet right now. I like Wemby. The odds have moved a little bit in recent days, but still, I don't think it's enough. But let's go and look at, if you go to the premium betting tools on the top left there, Jordan, let's just look at all of the current plus EV bets that are being projected, because I know there's a bunch that are standing out for NBA tomorrow. Yeah, put yourself in New Jersey. You got to locate yourself differently on the internet here. And let's see what it is. That's because, he's in LA with you, where you guys could play on, Prize Picks and Underdog. Links below to sign up. They've got some free squares today, particularly the one on Steph Curry. Prize Picks is over under 0.5 points if you guys want to take advantage of that. But by the way, people in the chat talking about how the Lakers can't hit a shot.
Well, yeah, now they have look at this lineup that is out on the floor for both of these teams. D'Angelo Russell and Jamal Murray, those are the guys you know. The Lakers, Hachimura, Reddish, Hayes, Vincent. The Nuggets, Najee, Watson, Jackson, Brown. Disgusting. Also, Reggie Jackson just got to steal off D'Angelo because he sucks.
Not Reggie. Well, Reggie Jackson sucks too, but there's lower expectations. The baseline's different. He wears glasses, so it's handy.
One's a little bit cheaper than the other, Greg.
That's true. Bets for tomorrow. Trying to see it on the screen. It is a little hard to view it through Zoom. It gets a little bit distorted on our end when we look at it. But there we go. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. Number one overall projected bet for tomorrow. Actually, here's one that really stands out to me. That is a massive over-under. Marcus Smart over-under 7.5 assists. We have him with a 7% expected EV tomorrow. Listen, I know there's no Ja Morant for the South. I'm just used to seeing Marcus Smart.
I know for Memphis.
Yeah. For Memphis, no Ja Morant. Marcus Smart's going to play a bigger role. I think 7.5 is a massive line to open up the year. The fair odds, scroll to the left, Jordan. What do we have projected as the fair odds on Marcus Smart tomorrow?
I mean, Tyus Jones is with the Wizards now, so it's going to be a little bit different, but I'm still with you. That's a lot. He's going to be the primary ball handler, I would expect.
Yeah, so I mean, fair odds north of minus 150 for the fair odds when the actual line is minus 130. So yeah, I think that's a line that really stands out to me at first glance, is getting to under 7.5 assists for Marcus Smart. Anything that you like today, whether it's from Odd Shopper or anything else you've seen from tomorrow, and then we could close the show with that. But my number one bet at the top of the board that I like from Odd Shopper is Marcus Smart for under 7.5 assists.
Yeah, I think that's a good one for sure. I think there are a lot of cooks in the kitchen in Indy, and the guy who's going to be holding the ball the entire time is Tyrese Halliburton. And we have near the top there as well, Benedict Mathurin. I think shorting a couple of these Pacers makes a lot of sense. I've already started putting together my spreadsheet for tomorrow. Nice to have some props available to us for today. That's not always going to be the case the night before, but I really like that one. Talked about Jaden Ivey earlier as well. I think with Cade Cunningham and his existence, Jaden Ivey, under 4.5 assists. I don't know how he's going to compete for any ball handling duties, considering Cade Cunningham's going to be out there just trying to do anything and everything for Detroit. So it's going to be, for me, it's going to be probably shorting the 4.5 assists. That's definitely something that was on my radar. And the other one, Benedict Mathurin, that is near the very top of the board. Unibet, that's not available to me. I would be able to get to DraftKings. 21.5, still would like the under of that for PRA.
That's going to do it for us. This 2-game slate, hour and a half, and it flew by. Guys, I cannot be more excited that NBA is back. If you haven't done it yet, do us a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tomorrow night, we have a real NBA slate for Eric and I to break down. There could be late swap of foot.
Almost
there could be
too
other
much
stuff going on.
Almost too much.
real basketball to talk about tomorrow. Not that today wasn't, but like more actual, DFS games, more situations to talk about. Check out the show tomorrow. Eric and I are also doing a live before lock and a live after lock show. Same sort of idea. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Looking forward to another season, and see you guys back here tomorrow night.
Oh my God, Reggie.